How's it going, folks? Welcome to another fun at-home table read. Tonight we're doing a movie that I'm kind of shocked we haven't done a reading for yet. The Three Amigos, a true classic of comedy with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, a ridiculously funny movie. I'm really glad we're getting a chance to do this one. So let's jump right into introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Anne, and I will be the action description and Carmen.
I'm Logan. I'm gonna be lucky.
I'm John. I'm going to be Lester. Chevy Chase.
I'm George, and I'll be Ned.
Three times one is three. I'm Travis, and I'm playing El Guapo.
Sorry, three times one is why are you saying math? Travis, you confused it already. You weird. Anyway, Anne, take us away.
The Three Amigos, screenplay by Steve Martin, Lorne Michaels, and Randy Newman. Exterior Mexican village, dusk. We are in the small Mexican village of Santo Poco. It is a town of farming, or I'm sorry, it is a town farming town. Oh, okay, it's a town farming town of quiet. It actually says that. If humble beauty, green trees shade a fountain in the center of the square, vines climb the walls of the sun-bleached casas. There is a church, a cantina, a granary, and at the edge of the town, a corral in which the few cattle in the town possesses are standing. Fields of grain extend outward into the surrounding desert, and in the distance we see the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. Super Mexico, 1916. Through a series of cuts, we establish the life of the village. Some of the men in town work late in the fields as the sun sets behind them. Two small boys drive an ox-drawn cart laden with corn out of the fields and into the town. The old women of the village are milling grain in the millstone. The villagers in the thatched-covered area sit bent over a foot-powered sewing machines making serapes. Interior Sanchez house, dusk. The Sanchez family is seated at the dinner table. Father is at the head of the table. To his right sits Rodrigo, his 14-year-old son. Across from Rodrigo is his sister, the beautiful Carmen. A 23-year-old Mama Sanchez. Carmen is 23 years old. Mama Sanchez approaches the table with a steaming bowl of rice and beans, puts it before her husband, and takes her place opposite him at the table. The family bow their heads in silent prayer. We are tight on the face of Carmen when suddenly, hearing something, she looks up with an expression of concern. Exterior Mexican village, dusk. The peasants working in the fields, looking nervously towards the hills. In the distance they see a cloud of dust rising up from the floor of the desert. Angle on, the two boys driving the ox cart. They stop suddenly and listen in the distant sound of the hoofbeats. Angle on, the women at the millstone, fear in their eyes as they stop work and head home. Interior Sanchez house, dusk. Louder now, we can hear the sound of thundering hoofbeats. The family is moving quickly, hiding blankets, putting food away. Mama Sanchez crosses herself before a crucifix. Exterior village, dusk. Dusk, not dusk. Blah. The town is now alive with activity. The children are hustled inside. Those of the animals that can be are swooped up and carried inside the homes of their owners. The cattle are taken from the corral and driven into the cantina. The peasants still stand in the field, the peasants still in the field run towards the village. The doors and the windows are shuttered and barred. Exterior plains dusk. Outside the village, we see 50 armed horsemen heading through the empty fields towards the town. Their rifles poke into the sky as they ride. Leather straps filled with bullets crisscross their chests, otherwise known as bandoliers. Exterior village, dusk. The streets of the town are silent and empty as the last door is locked and the last bolt is turned. The Bandidos ride into town and assemble in the square. Dramatically into the frame rides El Guapo, the leader of the Bandidos. He coldly surveys the empty, boarded-up town. He gestures in the direction of the granary. A few of his men quickly dismount and break down its doors. They return with 6 or 7 bags of grain, in which they throw on the backs of their horses. El Guapo pauses a moment, raises his rifle, and fires a shot at the bell in the church tower. It reverberates loudly. As the sound dies away, he speaks.
Buenos tardes, senors and senoras. How nice of you to welcome me once again to Santo Poco. Jefe!
we see Jefe,
Oh,
El
Jefe.
Guapo's obsequious second in command.
Yes, El Guapo.
Sorry, I'm so white. Jefe, maybe they do not know we are here.
El Guapo, that cannot be. We made so much noise. Maybe they're hiding in their houses.
Hiding from El Guapo, but why? They must know that I mean them no harm. Jefe, bring them to me.
He motions to Jefe, who, along with several other bandidos, dismounts. With their rifle butts, they break down the doors of the houses and the herd with the frightened villagers into the square.
My friends, it is good to see you again. Old man, you remember me?
Yes, El Guapo.
You have so little to offer me, this will not do. You know how much I have always depended upon your generosity. Even the clothes I wear were made by the women of your village, and the quality of your weaving is the best in all of Mexico.
El Guapo, last year's harvest was very poor. We have had barely enough for ourselves. It has been...
He lies, El Guapo. Let me kill him.
Jefe, we are not animals. We do not kill people for no reason.
Sometimes we do, El Guapo.
Please forgive him. He is so excitable. Continue, old man.
El Guapo slowly rides up to Father Sanchez. He looks again for a moment at Carmen.
This year will be a good harvest. And when it is in, we will be happy to share with you what we can spare.
El Guapo glares down at Father Sanchez.
What you can spare? What you can spare?
He grabs Father Sanchez and lifts him up so they are face to face.
Can you spare the lives of your children, of your women? What can you spare, old man? When the moon is full, we will return. Fatten your cattle and gather your crops and pray that the harvest is good. Vámonos, muchachos.
He pushes Father Sanchez aside and rides with his men out of town. Father Sanchez is caught among the horsemen and is knocked brutally to the ground. Rodrigo, Carmen, and Mama Sanchez run to their father's side and kneel beside him. He is helped to his feet and assisted by Rodrigo and Carmen, walks slowly to his house. The crowd disperses except for a few men who linger in the street surveying the damage. Interior of the Sanchez home, dusk. They enter the house. Father is helped to his chair by Rodrigo. Carmen approaches with a glass of water, with her father refuses. Father. Pater Sanchez is humiliated by what has happened, averts his eyes, and Rodrigo is unable to watch. With tears in his eyes, he rushes outside. Exterior street, dusk. We see the men who remain in the street. Among them are Carlos and Pedro.
This time, he will leave us with nothing.
At least he will leave us our lives.
Yes, so that we can plant another crop for next to spring.
Rodrigo comes up to the men.
Cowards, did you not see? They almost killed my father. Why did you not stand beside him? You have guns. Why do you not use them?
Yes, we have guns, Rodrigo, and we use them, but not like El Guapo and his men.
Then we must find men who can teach us to fight.
Rodrigo, you are very young. You do not
That's
understand.
not your words.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's one. You said four. Rodrigo, you are very young. You do not understand. Our lives have always been this way, and it will always be. We are farmers.
Carmen appears from the house. Rodrigo is right. We must find men who can protect us.
And with that, would we pay these men?
Carmen puts her arm around her younger brother. We will find a way. We have no choice. Exterior border town day. We are in the town of Diablo. It is a good deal larger than Santo Poco and considerably more up to date. There is a telegraph office, a boarding house, a livery stable, and about a mile from town, a train depot. The main street is dominated by a sleazy honky-tonk bar. My kind of bar. Carmen and Rodrigo ride down the street on a horse. Clearly, they have never been out of their little village before, and they are amazed by what they see. An automobile clanks by. Interior border town bar day. Carmen and Rodrigo dismount and tie up their horses. They watch several desperados enter the bar.
We will find the men we needed here.
Interior border town bar day. As Rodrigo and Carmen enter, the activity stops and all heads turn towards them. We see a frightened tableau of the worst collection of gunfighters and desperados ever assembled in one room. Rodrigo and Carmen back out of the bar. Exterior bar day. They stand outside the bar.
Carmen, this is no place for you. I will go in myself. You wait here.
Rodrigo enters the bar. Carmen sits on a bench and watches as a car goes by. She sees a crowd of people entering a building next to the bar. The sound of a pipe organ emanates from the building. Rodrigo comes out of the bar.
Carmen, there are very bad men in there. They are no better than El Guapo. They will not help us. No one will help us.
Rodrigo, you must have faith. The Holy Mother will help us. Come. She hears the sound of the organ and they join the crowd of townspeople entering the building next to the bar. Interior cinema day. She enters. Rodrigo following. The cinema is crowded. Above the screen is a small crucifix. This is not a church. With the organist playing in the background, she sees a title appear on screen. The Three Amigos, and the movie begins. Three horsemen grinning into the camera ride in the Mexican countryside. They're wearing tight black pants studded with conchos. On their heads are big sombreros. Intercut Carmen's face with amusement. Back to the movie. Art card. We are the Three Amigos. A wide shot of the Three Amigos. Art card. We ride. A close-up of Ned Nederlander. Art card. We fight. Close-up of Lester. Art card. We love. Close-up of Lucky Day. Art card. But in the village, there is trouble. We see raiders, not unlike El Guapo and his men, tormenting a village. Close-up of the tortured face of a young woman. An art card. Only one thing can save us now. The Three Amigos. Back to the young woman, her face suddenly alive with hope. The Amigos, in the same shout as before, riding towards the village. The Bandido. Excuse me. The Bandido, with the young woman in his arms, looks up toward the horizon. The look of fear crosses his face. Art card. Oh no, it's the Three Amigos. Same shot, the Amigos on horses, this time with their guns blazing. A shot of the bandit leader. Art card. You will die like dogs, Amigos. A shot of Ned answering back. Art card. No, we will not die like dogs. We will fight like lions. The Amigos ride into town. Four of the Bandidos run, only to be lassoed in one toss by Lucky. Lester throws a knife, and the Bandido is pinned to a door and struggles to free himself. Ned draws his guns incredibly fast, juggles them, and fires repeatedly, shooting the pistoles out of the three Bandidos' hands. The rest of the Bandidos mount their horses and flee. An old man and a beautiful young girl approach the Amigos as the villagers look on. The old man offers up a sack of gold. Art card. Here is the 100,000 pesos we promised you. Ned takes the money, looks to Lucky and Lester, and then with a grin gallantly tosses the gold back to the old man. Art card. Our pay is that justice has been done. Lucky Day reaches down and kisses the beautiful girl. She looks up at him and her face is flushed with feeling. Lucky turns into the light and we see a profile of Lucky Day posing nobly. It's shot that seems to go on forever. Art card. Let's give the Amigos salute. And the Amigos salute. They cross their arms with their chests and the hands, put them on their hips, and the rhythmic 1, 2, 3, and they ride off into the sunset as the townspeople show their gratitude. Interior makeshift cinema day. The flicker of the film dies down on Carmen's face. The people have begun to file out of the cinema. She's utterly enraptured with the Amigos. Rodrigo, equally enchanted, stares at the blank screen. Rodrigo, I did not know such men existed.
With 3 men like that, El Guapo would not dare to enter our village.
We must let them know we need them. She looks over and sees a poster for the Three Amigos, walks up to the poster, and she sees written at the bottom, Goldsmith Pictures, Hollywood, California. Interior telegraph office day. Carmen is dictating a telegram to a dapper telegrapher. He is nicely soused. That means drunk Travis. The Three Amigos, Goldsmith Pictures, Hollywood, California.
Amigos.
I still say we should go there.
No, Rodrigo, there is no time. We have seen your deeds and think you are very great.
No.
We can pay you 100,000 pesos.
100,000 pesos. Carmen, we do not have 100,000 pesos. That is not that much money in all of Mexico.
Don't worry, Rodrigo, they will refuse it, but it would be an insult not to offer it to them.
100,000 pesos.
100,000 pesos if you come to Santo Poco and put on a show of your strength and stop the she searches for a word. Rodrigo supplies her.
Evil, murdering.
Villainous El Guapo, so that once again we can be in a peaceful village.
That'll be 23 pesos.
We have only 10 pesos.
I'll give you the 10 peso version.
They dump their last pesos on the desk. They watch as the telegrapher crosses out a number of words, stumbles over a key, and sends a message.
You are very great. 100,000 pesos to come to Santo Poco, put on show, stop the...
He stops for a moment looking at the message, then he makes a substitution.
I'll put infamous El Guapo.
Infamous?
It means murderous, evil, like all you said. It'll save you money.
Thank you. Carmen and Rodrigo leave the telegraph office. Exterior telegraph office day. They stand outside the office. Now we can only hope that they will come.
They are probably very busy. There is so much injustice in the world.
They will come, Rodrigo. They have to come. These men are our only hope. They sit outside, staring through the glass at the telegraph key as the telegrapher sends their message. Interior mansion, morning, super. Hollywood, California. We're inside an elaborate Hollywood mansion. An excess of vulgar, overblown furniture fills the foyer and sweeping staircase dominates the entry. Several servants pass, including Katrina the maid. James the butler, dressed in formal cutaway, climbs the stairs. He knocks successively on each of the 3 doors.
40 minutes to your meeting with Mr. Flugleman. Breakfast in 5 minutes.
Music begins.
That's Randy Newman. Oh,
The 3 amigos emerge from their respective rooms. They are dressed to the nines, very much the Hollywood stars. Their cashmere jackets set off perfectly their beautifully starched shirts and ties. Lester wears a glamorous hairdo. His hair is waving back over his head in tight, beautiful curls. They troop down the steps, each of them attracted by a large mirror at the front of the stairs. They stop and primp endlessly at the mirror. Lucky keeps looking at his profile. Ned checks his wardrobe, and Lester puts grotesque amounts of hair pomade on his head. The song ends, and the amigos continue to primp.
What do you think Mr. Flugleman wants to see us about?
I'll tell you one thing he's going to see us about. I want to do more real acting in the pictures. I want to play anger. I want to play romance. I want to play rage.
Let me ask you something. I know my hair looks good, but does it look great?
It
Looks
very
very
Lester.
good, Lester.
Just let me do the talking in there today. See, Flugleman fears me. He knows I'm a guy who takes what he wants, when he wants it, where he wants it, why he wants it, and who he wants it.
Huh?
Just don't worry about it. Look, I know what I'm talking about.
I think he'd like to hear what I have to say. After all, there's only one amigo who seems to be bringing the women into the theater.
Sure, you bring the women into the theater, and that's why I'm known as the profile.
You're the only one who calls you the profile, Lucky. You made that up.
So? It's a thing. It's working for me. You call yourself the profile long enough. Pretty soon, somebody else does. Then everybody is.
From the dining room, a 15-year-old boy emerges. He is wild-eyed and very hyper. He carries a can of floor wax in one hand and polishing cloth in the other. Approaches James the butler. The amigos continue their primping.
Did you finish waxing the floor?
Yes, I've been waxing since 6:30 this morning. Can I have my Mrs. Weems now?
Let's check the floor first.
They go over to the dining room, and there is a highly polished marble floor. Without stepping on it, the boy picks up a 20-pound curling stone. He puts it on the floor, slides it across the floor as though it were made of ice.
Good work. You can have your Mrs. Weems.
He takes out a bottle of old-fashioned cure-all, and the boy takes a swig and becomes curiously alert.
Can I polish some more, James?
James nods yes, and the boy retreats to the dining room, polishing furiously. Lucky calls to James.
James, what's going on?
Well, Billy seems to work better if I give him a swig of Mrs. Weems every once in a while.
James, do you know what you're doing? There's alcohol in those things. You're getting him drunk.
Oh no, I checked the label. There's no alcohol in here at all. I was very cautious about that, sir.
Lucky takes the bottle and reads the label.
Oh, let's see. Water, cod liver oil, mandrake root, cocaine, eucalyptus, sorghum. Nope, everything's fine. Sorry, James.
Katrina enters from the kitchen. Breakfast is served. Enter your dining room. We see the amigos enter the dining room, and they slide and slip across the intensely waxed floor to their seats.
Whoa!
Oh!
Technical note, we will put roller skates on the amigos and shoot them from the knees up, replacing the skates with sounds with footsteps. And the amigos finally make it to their seats. In the background of the boy polishes furiously.
Very good job.
Excellent.
One of the servants enters the dining room carrying a tray full of food. He slips and slides his way over to the table, barely making it. He puts the food down and each plate sliding around the floor, all through the next conversation.
So what are you going to talk to Mr. Flugleman about?
A little thing called more.
Gee, Lucky, the studio's been pretty good to us. They let us use this house. They gave us clothes.
What about money, Lester? You notice your pocket's filling up with money?
They said they'd pay us more when our movies made money.
Look, our movies do not have to make money. Our movies are artistic.
True.
You have to pay for artistic.
You sure about this, Lucky?
Am I sure about it? Look, I'm the guy who created the Three Amigos, remember? Backstage at the Grease It Up Club, we couldn't get arrested as individuals, and I looked at us three out-of-work magician's assistants and said, the three.
Lester said amigos.
Yeah, but I said the three part. It's a very major part. Now, excuse me, I have to go to the kitchen.
He gets up and goes to the kitchen, slipping and sliding all the way. Enter your kitchen day. Katrina and the chauffeur are locked in a passionate embrace. When the off-balance Lucky bursts through the door, they separate quickly and he exits. Lucky walks over to Katrina. He kisses her and puts his hands on her breasts.
Katrina, last night was...
Yes, it was.
Same time tonight? 11:30?
Yes, tonight. I love you. Interior dining room day. Ned rises. I'll see what... Oh, sorry.
I'll see what's keeping Lucky.
Yes, you do that. He slips and slides on the kitchen floor. Interior kitchen day. Ned enters and they separate quickly. Lucky quickly covers.
And a little less salt on my morning omelet.
Of course. He exits, leaving Ned alone with Katrina. Ned walks over to her and puts his hands on her breasts.
Last night.
Incredible.
Same time tonight, 1 a.m.
Yes.
Tonight, it's your turn.
Ooh, Katrina is very pleased with this. Interior dining room day. Lucky comes back to the table, sliding all the way. Lester gets up to go to the kitchen.
Excuse me, Lucky.
Then Lester enters from the foyer. Ned and Katrina break. Suddenly, Ned covers.
And my shirts should be cleaner, brighter, and less starch.
Yes, sir. Ned exits. Lester is alone with Katrina. He walks over to her, too, and puts his hands on her breasts.
They're still warm from last night.
Only for you.
Same time, 3:30.
Can we make it 4?
I'll be waiting.
Butler appears at the door to separate quickly.
The studio car is here for you.
Exterior mansion day. The servants line up to say goodbye. The amigos march out and enter their car. Exterior studio day. We see the exterior of Goldsmith Studios, aka Sony Pictures. There is a billboard out front of the three amigos wearing tuxedos and top hats. The billboard reads, "Those darn amigos," featuring Miss Rene. Interior Flugleman's office day. The studio head's office. It is a bustling command center. There are two other assistants, including Morty and Sam. One stands beside him, the other on the phone.
Streamlining. That's the word today.
Streamlining, Mr. Flugleman?
Streamlining. We're talking about streamlining here.
Those guys in New York think we sit around all day pulling our puds. They think I don't know how to run a studio. They think I know how to trim our sails, how to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Right in the background, Sam is on the phone giving orders to Streamline.
Streamline the art department. Streamline the legal department. Hell, streamline everything.
Exterior studio day. The Amigos limo stops at the studio gate. There is a group of fans surrounding the car. The Amigos and the chauffeur exit the car. The fans run up to the driver and ask for an autograph. The Amigos enter the studio. Interior Flugleman's office day. The tirade continues.
Goldsmith Studios is going to make people movies. Morty movies about people made by people with people in them that people want to see.
Makes a lot of sense, Mr. Flugleman.
More people movies.
Flugleman's secretary, Nancy, enters.
They just called from the gate, sir. The three amigos are on their way up to see you.
We'll just be a minute. Have them wait. Morty, what are we doing with the three amigos?
Sandy and Irving are working on something where the three amigos meet Cochise.
Haha, their last picture, huh?
Those Don Amigos.
That was a big mistake. Too sophisticated. Not enough of people picture. Miss Rene was swelling it, don't you think, Morty?
Best thing in the picture.
She's a beautiful woman, Morty.
She really is, Mr. Flugleman.
She's going to be a big star.
I'm sure of it.
You know, Morty, the studio has a lot of money tied up in Miss Rene.
She's worth every penny of it.
Morty, we got to watch the budget on this picture. This movie is the Amigos' last chance.
We've already streamlined it. We're going to take the boys down to Baja and shoot the picture in 8 days.
Great, streamlining. That's the ticket, Morty.
Interior office day. It's Flugleman's outer office. His secretary, Nancy, sits behind a desk as the Amigos enter.
Tell Harry the Amigos are here, sweetheart.
Harry? Oh, you mean Mr. Flugleman. He'll be with you in a moment. By the way, I've got some fan mail for you.
She hands Lucky a small stack of mail.
Any for me back there, Nancy?
Yes, Mr. Nederlander.
She hands Ned a stack too, then pulls out an enormous stack of mail.
And this is for you, Lester. Well, Mr. Profile, Mr. Real Acting, it looks like I've got the it. The magic, the stuff that money can't buy. The public has spoken.
Lucky and Ned glare furiously at Lester.
And this telegram came for the Amigos.
She hands it to Lester, and he starts to open it, but the office door opens and Morty calls to the Amigos.
Mr. Flugleman can see you now.
And we can see Mr. Flugleman. Remember, let me do the talking.
They enter the office. Interior Flugleman's office day. The Amigos walk confidently into the room.
Hello, Mr. F. Morty, Sam, long time no see.
All right, boys, let's get down to business. Your last picture,
Those Don Amigos.
Those darn Amigos was not a success at the box office. We got to get back to the basics. Shooting for Love, Wanderers of the West, The Ride of the Three Amigos. All the great Amigo pictures had one thing in common. Wealthy Spanish landowners who fight for the rights of peasants. If the story of nation can sink their teeth into it, we are building upon an audience for you. Then came those darn amigos. Nobody went to see it because nobody cares about the three wealthy Spanish landowners on a weekend in Manhattan. We strayed from the formula and we paid the price.
I thought we, the Amigos, were quite good in it, but unfortunately we were forced to play second fiddle to that French cow.
Are you speaking about Miss Rene?
Yeah, the Oops girl.
Lester and Ned laugh.
Tell the boys about the Cochise picture, Morty.
Sandy and Irving are working on it right now. You meet Cochise. At first you think he's a terrible guy. You fight. Then you get to know him. You come to respect each other, and at the end of the picture, you're friends. That's you, Travis.
Oh, I'm here, yes. We send you boys down to Baja. We shoot the picture in 8 days.
Right. Lucky looks over at the other two, and then steps forward.
That'll be the day.
What did he say?
He said, that'll be the day, Chief.
What?
I don't think you understand who you're talking to here. We've got a few items to straighten out first, or there might be three guys who don't really feel much like making a Geronimo picture.
What the hell are you talking about?
Lucky, I think we ought to back off.
What we are talking about is more real acting moments for Ned, where he can show his range. And we're talking about money. No dough, no show, Flugie.
Flugleman's voice or face starts to contort. Lucky winks at the other amigos.
Plus, I see a new type of movie for the Amigos. No more of these people-type pictures.
Boys, let me just say one thing. It'll be a cold day in hell before Harry Flugleman lets an actor tell him what to do. You know what the word nada means in all those Mexican movies you made? Did you ever hear that word?
Isn't it a light chicken gravy?
It means nothing. Zero. Zip. It means you're going to have what I'm through with you. You hit Harry Flugleman on a bad day.
I'd like to continue to work for free, Mr. Flugleman.
Are you living in the studio mansion?
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. You're not, Morty. Move Miss Rene into the studio mansion.
The Amigos are out of the mansion. Miss Rene is in. Out of the mansion?
They have cars and drivers too, Mr. Flugleman.
You stay out of this.
Get rid of their cars.
No more cars for the Amigos.
Where'd you get those coats? From a movie?
Yeah, the studio gave them to us, those darn Amigos.
Well, we're taking them back, Sam.
Gotcha, Mr. Flugleman. Get wardrobe over here right away. Take the Amigos' coats. Wait a minute. You can't take our coats. You gave us these coats. I love this coat.
At that moment, 6 wardrobe people come in the office in a flurry of activity and start removing the amigos' fancy coats, leaving them with only pants and shirts.
Hey, hang on a second there. I think you misread who you're talking to.
Get the guards. I want it'll be the day and his friends off my lot. Your asses have just been streamlined. The Three Amigos are history.
Sam presses a button under the desk. 6 studio guards enter the office, and amidst a volley of protestation, the amigos are hustled out of the office. Exterior of Flugleman's office stay. The amigos exit the building, still being given the bum rush by the guards. The amigos are yelling at one another.
You had to do it. You had to say it. You had to tell Flugleman how to make movies.
He doesn't mean this. It's a ploy. He knows I make movies. You guys don't understand the business.
I don't understand the business. I've been in the business since I was 3. You're a profile, all right? A profile in stupidity.
He's negotiating. He's negotiating.
Well, he's doing a damn fine job of it.
He's good. He's real good.
This is all your fault.
My fault? You're the one who called Flugleman's girlfriend a cow.
Flugleman's girlfriend? Since when is Miss Rene Flugleman's girlfriend?
Was that 20 minutes between scenes 4 and 5 on those darn amigos?
Is that what they were doing?
We've lost our house, our cars, our clothes. Oh, at least I have Katrina.
What do you mean you have Katrina? I have Katrina.
I have Katrina.
You don't have Katrina. You don't have Katrina. I have Katrina.
I have a feeling none of us have Katrina.
So this is what being dead is like.
Yeah.
They get to the gate, and the 6 guards throw them out right on their wasoos.
Oh,
Mr. Flugleman said not to let them back in for anything.
Exterior studio day. They stand there looking angrily at one another. They look up to see the Three Amigos poster being papered over with a new Miss Rene poster. Ned turns to Lucky.
Lucky Day, you are out of my life forever.
He storms off. Lester and Lucky watch him go. They are left alone in front of the studio.
God, Lucky, what are we gonna do? I love being a movie star. I'm so good at it. It's the only thing I know. Fast cars, beautiful women, expensive restaurant, someone to do my hair. They gave me the special hairgo at the studio. I don't even know where to get it. Okay, here's my plan. We go back to Flugleman, throw ourselves at his feet, and beg him to take us back.
the Three Amigos begging Lester? We never begged in our lives.
I'm not talking about a lot of begging, a little begging. Hardly noticeable. It's not really begging if you just beg a little.
Lester, you know me. Try to picture me begging. I've always been the leader of the Three Amigos, even though right now my men despise me. How would you like to see your leader begging?
All right. So we go to another studio. There's plenty of studios that would want the Three Amigos.
We can't. We're under contract to Flugleman.
Well, if we're under contract to him, he's got to pay us then.
No, he's only got to pay us if he uses us.
He only got to pay us if he uses us. He doesn't want to use us, and we can't go anywhere else. We negotiated a deal?
Seemed like a good deal at the time.
Lucky. What are we going to do for food?
Lester, you know me. What am I?
Huh?
What did I call myself before I came up with the Mr. Profile thing?
Oh, yeah. You're a renegade maverick.
What kind of renegade maverick?
A renegade maverick who cares?
That's right, a renegade maverick who cares about his men. So let me just think about this. A plan, a classic Lucky Day plan, a big plan, a good plan, the kind of plan that makes us all the plans seem like...
Not plans?
That's right. Excuse me.
Lucky gets up and walks away. He thinks. Lester in the background discovers the telegram in his pocket. He opens it and casually reads it, angled on Lucky.
Maybe we could hunt frogs in the bayou. And... Lester?
He turns to see Lester passed out on the sidewalk. The telegram is in his hand. Lucky runs over to him and slaps him. Slaps him too. Lester indicates the telegram. Lucky reads it.
100,000 pesos?
That's a lot of money, isn't it?
100,000 is a lot of anything.
Who's this El Guapo guy?
I don't know. Must be a big actor down there. El Guapo. El Guapo. Yeah, I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, his name's familiar. Kind of... What's infamous mean?
I think it means he's more than famous. He's infamous. You know, it's like immortal. He's not mortal. He's immortal.
This could be our way back. With that kind of money, we could buy out of our contract. Or if we score real big in Mexico, Flugleman will have no take us back.
Well, he'd have to. Yeah, we've got to get Ned. Look, 100,000 pesos.
Lucky stands in front of the studio and yells up at it.
Okay, Flugleman. You know what this is? It's an offer. They want the Amigos to perform in Mexico for more money than you ever paid us for all our pictures put together. You may have knocked me down once, but it'll take something a lot bigger than you to knock me down again.
A little person or something slams into Lucky and flattens him. Exterior house day. Lester and Lucky knock on the door of a modest bungalow in Hollywood. An elderly woman answers.
Mrs. Nederlander, is Ned here?
Haven't you boys done enough to Nettie today?
I want to talk to him about a job.
Oh, he's upset. I don't think it's a good idea.
It's very important, Mrs. Nederlander.
No. All right. Ned, Lester and Fuckhead are here to see you. They enter the house. Interior living room day. Mrs. Nederlander escorts them in and goes to get Ned. The walls of the parlor are filled with pictures and mementos of Ned's days as a child actor. Little Nettie knickers. There's a picture of little Nettie sitting in Teddy Roosevelt's knee, and one of them of Babe Ruth. Lucky and Lester have never seen the Nederlander parlor before and are either impressed, stunned, awestruck, maybe take your pick.
Lucky, this place is like a shrine to little Nettie Knickers.
He looks at a photo.
Gee, he was a cute little fellow.
Yeah.
Ned enters.
I've saved $180 and I'm going to go to barber college. I've already told my mother.
What do you mean you quit show business? Oh, not you, Ned.
Lucky takes out the telegram and brandishes it in front of Ned.
Ned, we have an offer.
A great one.
A personal appearance in Mexico. One show, 100,000 pesos.
Ned perks up a little, then appears to lose interest.
No, I don't want anything more to do with you guys. I promised my mother.
Listen, Ned. I was watching those darn amigos. You made a real acting breakthrough. You're starting to be able to grin. Remember 2 years ago, you couldn't grin in front of the camera? Well, you're grinning up there now. The movies need that.
You must love us in Mexico, Ned. This is our chance. 100,000 pesos, and it's only a personal appearance. We go down, fire our guns in the air, put a little show on at this El Guapo guy, and we're home in 3 days.
Yeah.
Who is this El Guapo?
Only the biggest actor in all of Mexico. This guy's practically infamous.
Practically, he is infamous.
This could be a big revival for the Amigos.
Be international stars.
International stars.
Ned thinks about it.
If I come back, I want a bigger share of the money.
Lucky looks frustratedly over at Lester, who is no help.
I have to come out of your end, Lucky.
Lucky grudgingly accepts.
All right, I'm in.
Great. We could be on a train tomorrow morning for Mexico. We pick up our $100,000 and we're back in 4 days.
Exterior, Amigo Mansion Day. The three of them knock at the door of their old house. James, the butler, answers.
May I help you?
James, it's us.
Yes, it is, but I'm afraid Mr. Flugleman left orders that you are not to enter the house. We just want our stuff, our clothes. Everything of yours is property of the studio.
James, we don't have a change of clothes.
That's not my concern, Master Ned.
James, for old time's sake. You've known me since I was little Nettie Knickers. We're practically family.
I'm sorry, Master Ned.
He emphatically slams the door. The amigos bang on it, and from above, the window opens, and Miss Rene, the new resident of the mansion, pokes her head out. What the hell is going on out here?
Miss Rene, we came to...
Came to shit, boys. I'm living here now. Harry wants it that way.
We need our clothes, our amigo costumes.
You're too late. They came and got everything this afternoon and took all of your junk back to the studio. Now buzz off. I've got a big scene tomorrow. I'm still working. She laughs at them and shuts the window. Exterior studio wall night. Illuminated by starlight, Lester and Ned creep around the outside of the studio wall. The Amigo poster has been replaced by Miss Rene poster.
Are you sure it wouldn't be easier to go to Flugleman and just ask him for our Amigo costumes?
Flugleman hates us right now, thanks to... He's not going to give us
He
our
just
costume.
shoots.
Lucky's right. This is the only way.
A rope falls into the shop from above. We're starting to hear an odd bird call sounds from above. They take no notice of them.
I don't know. This is illegal.
Not if you're stealing costumes that fit only you. Besides, think of the money, 100,000 pesos.
Whoop! Whoop! The bird calls, in which grown increasingly and more weird, have now stopped. Lucky has given them up, and just yells down at Lester and Ned.
Hey, guys, come on.
Oh, okay.
He starts to climb the rope. Montage. The three of them in silhouette dash across the rooftops of the buildings now and lower themselves to the ground on a tree branch. It's the first time we see them in action. Not bad. There's a certain clumsy grace to it, but they're not the three guys you want to save your town. Exterior studio grounds night. They hide behind a building as a studio guard passes them.
Hey, look, there's the wardrobe building. We'll go across one at a time, okay?
Ned and Lester nod in approval when they all dash simultaneously halfway out when they realize their mistake and Lucky orders them back to where they started from.
I said one at a time.
You were looking right at me. I thought you meant me first.
When you two went, what was I supposed to do? Stand here?
I'll go first.
Who should go second?
I don't care. You two work it out.
He darts off around the corner and safely makes it to the wardrobe entrance. He turns to look back to where Lester and Ned should be coming from. They don't come. After a lengthy stare, Lucky dashes back. He finds Lester and Ned still behind the building.
What are you doing?
We're still working it out.
God damn it. We'll go as a clump.
He dashes out alone, and the rest follow, one at a time. They arrive singularly at the wardrobe department.
Sorry, I didn't know what you meant by clump.
I didn't hear you at all.
Forget it. Look, Ned, try the window.
He does. It's open. They climb in. Interior wardrobe department night. Rows and rows of costume hang on racks. The amigos sneak down the aisles searching for their costumes.
Found it.
Costumes?
My hair goo. This is where they keep it. God, this must be my lucky day.
Keep searching for the costumes.
They search the room for their costumes.
Lester, see if you can find the guns.
Oh, here they are.
Hey, here's some blanks.
Take the whole box. We're going to need them for the show.
There they are.
We see from his POV that the amigo costumes hanging on a rack. They are illuminated slightly and they appear to glow in the darkness of the wardrobe room. The amigos approach them reverently.
God, they're so beautiful.
Reverentially?
I never thought I'd see them again.
Let's get them, boys.
The music comes up. They march toward the costumes. A hand goes in a glove. A hat goes on a head. They begin to change into their costumes. Lots of close-ups of their spangly conchos and sombreros. And we see a shot of Lucky and Ned tightening Lester's corset. Finally, they stand fully dressed as the Three Amigos.
I must admit, it feels pretty good.
Ned twirls his guns with a flourish. Suddenly, there is a sound of guards.
Hey, what's going on there?
There's pounding on the door.
Let's go, amigos.
The instrumental introduction of the Three Amigos song begins. As the guards pound on the door, amigos slip out of the window to the early morning light. Lucky lands, Ned close behind, Lester carrying the box of blanks. Lucky peers around the corner of the wardrobe building. He sees a swarm of guards.
This way.
The three take off in the opposite direction. They move quickly through the studio. The guards in hot pursuit. Something about having their costumes on makes them work better together. Exterior movie set morning. On the studio lot, a movie is in progress. On the set, Miss Rene is seated in seated in a well of a catapult, dressed as Marie Antoinette. Flugleman and Morty approach, watching the action.
She's very nervous about this scene.
The great ones always are.
The director and the leading man and several crew members fuss around here, talking about the shot.
All right, here's the scene. You jump in from the window. Cliff and Pete will light the fuse in the catapult. You leap up to save Miss Rene. You put you to safety over there. And the empty catapult goes off when we cut.
Make sure you get it right. She spots Flugleman across the set. Hi! The set springs to life in the mention of the word Harry, and Harry looks embarrassed.
She belongs up there, Morty.
He's our biggest star, Mr. Flugleman.
There's a quiet on set and the director yells action. The leading actor leaps onto the set, but before he could save Miss Rene, the amigos run through the set. Ned notices the position Miss Rene is in and cannot pass up the opportunity. He grabs a sword out of the leading man's scabbard and slices the rope. She is catapulted over Flugleman's head through a set wall and onto a backdrop, which breaks her fall and probably several bones. The amigos keep on running, laughing as they go. They evade the guards and deftly scale the walls of the studio. They stand atop the wall and wave their sombreros at the frustrated guards. Interior train station day. The amigos are at the train station in downtown Los Angeles. They are still dressed in their outfits and people stare at them curiously. Angle on Ned. He's buying their tickets at the wicket.
3 tickets to Diablo, Mexico, please.
Angle on Lucky. He is sending a telegram.
Amigos arriving midweek. Expect deluxe accommodations, poolside car if possible.
Angela and Lester, he's looking at a map of Mexico on a wall.
Hey, I found Santopoco. It's right near the Valley of the Living Death.
Angela and Ned, still at the ticket wicket. He has purchased the tickets and writes in a notepad.
Tickets Diablo, $18.
Excuse me. Interior telegraph office day. Close up of the telegraph key. Finishing the message. The operator hands a telegram to the waiting Carmen. She reads the message and shouts exuberantly to Rodrigo. Rodrigo, those three amigos are coming! Exterior train day. A train makes its way across the desert. Interior train car day. We are tied on a family of dignified Mexican peasants who are laughing at something. The camera reveals what they are laughing at. Ned, Lucky, and Lester sit opposite them, still dressed in their black spangled outfits. Chickens and goats wander the car untethered.
I still don't understand the point of wearing our costumes on the train. Why don't we wear regular clothes and when we get down there, change into our costumes?
They are expecting the three amigos to get off the train, not three ham bones in street clothes. There might be press people, there might be people who want our autographs, photographers. We don't know how big this thing is.
When do we get paid?
I'm sure after the show.
We should get half before and half after.
We'll see when we get down there.
Hey, Lucky, what are you going to do with your share of the money?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe give me a big car or a whole new wardrobe. Come, Mr. Big.
I'd blow it all in one big vacation. I'd breeze to the islands and buy everybody drinks. They'd think I was a big shot.
I would help all the unfortunate people in the world that I could, see if they have food and clothing.
Lucky and Lester are guilty.
Oh, yeah, I would help the unfortunate people, too. See, I would buy them a big car and a new wardrobe.
Oh yeah, when I said I would spend it on drinks on vacation, I was just kidding. Fortunate's all the way.
Exterior desert day. The train puffs across the desert. Interior train night. Lester, Lucky, and Ned sleep uncomfortably in one seat. Interior train morning. It's morning and the amigos are stirring. Lester has his hair in curlers.
Excuse me, is this Diablo? Yes, it is. Thank you.
Lester begins to remove the curlers from his hair. The train grinds to a halt.
Ready, boys? Let's give the folks a thrill.
Exterior train station day. The train pulls out of the station to reveal the amigos. The amigos, all three amigos, twirl their guns. We see from their POV that no one is watching them.
I'm sure glad we wore our costumes.
Suddenly, a World War I biplane noisily flies over their heads.
What is that?
Plane.
That's not just any plane, it's a Tubman 640. I flew one in Little Eddie Goes to War. Well, I didn't really fly it, my stuntman did, but I watched him.
What's it doing here?
I think it's a mail plane.
How can you tell?
Didn't you notice its little balls as it flew over?
No balls. That was a great one. As Ned laughs, the other two amigos think about this joke for a minute. They never get it. Finally, they holster their guns, pick up their box, and head towards town. We hear a sound of a train disappearing in the distance. As the train fades, the sounds of flies, snakes, and scorpions become audible. Interior border town bar day. We see the same faces we saw here earlier when Carmen and Rodrigo visited it. Suddenly, from the outside, we hear the sound of an engine. A room shakes, and the startled Bandidos look up from the door. Two Bandidos open the swinging doors, and we see World War I biplane, which is rolled to a stop in front of the cantina. Angle on the door. A smallish, nattily attired European man with a handkerchief tucked into his sleeve gets out of the plane and enters the saloon. He is the Frenchman. All eyes turn to him as he walks calmly across the room. A group of gunslingers chuckle at him under their breath. The Frenchman takes note of their derision. The Frenchman is wearing a pearl-handled 6 guns. Do you have any wine?
Just tequila.
The Frenchman nods. The bartender sets him up. He takes a sip of his drink and sets the drink down carefully on the bar. I am looking for a man called El Guapo. Do you know this man?
Perhaps, senor.
From behind, a Bandido challenges the Frenchman.
Do you have any wine?
The Frenchman again takes a silent note of the insult, but he continues talking. El Guapo will be anxious to hear me. I have something he wants.
Where'd you get the pretty little guns, senor?
The Frenchman again ignores the insult. I am meeting some friends of mine here. They are coming in the afternoon train. When they arrive, tell them to wait.
How will I know them?
You will know them. You will most certainly know them.
Hey, honey, come on over here and sit on my lap. I want to show you something.
Zing! An emotion almost invisible to the naked eye, the stranger draws his guns and shoots his tormentor down mercilessly. In another part of the room, the other three men begin to draw on the Frenchman. He turns and shoots them down. Anyone else with a comment? Silence. Some friends of mine will be coming here. I hope you will show them more courtesy than you have shown me. They are not as kind-hearted as I am. Bonjour. He walks slowly through the room and out the door. We hear a sound of the plane taking off, and the startled bandidos clear away the bodies. Exterior border town street day. Waves of heat come off the street, and the sun beats down. The amigos sun beats down on the amigos. We see the amigos walking, down the street. Eventually, they pass a bar where the Frenchman dealt with the gunslingers.
God, I'm thirsty.
This looks like a nice place. Let's go in here.
Interior bar day. The doors swing open and the amigos enter. The bandidos stare at him. Are these the men the Frenchman warned them about? Close up. Ned's pearl-handled guns, angle on the bandidos. The desperados, particularly in light of the guns Ned is wearing, are certain that these are the men the Frenchman warned them about. They give them plenty of room. Angle on the amigos. They look around the bar at the array of sinister faces.
Looks like someone's been down here with the ugly stick.
The amigos head towards the bar. As they do, all eyes are on them. The bandidos move nervously out of their way.
Excuse me. We're not Mexicans. We're from out of town. Could you tell us where the big hotel is?
There is no big hotel here.
Right, no big hotel. I could kill someone.
The bandidos react. Some move away from the bar.
Well, whatever the best hotel in town is.
There is no hotel in this town. You can take a bath at Mrs. Gomez. It's just down the street.
The bartender leans over the bar and whispers conspiratorially.
Excuse me, you are the...
He winks at them, and the amigos blush and exchange knowing glances with each other.
Yes, yes, we are. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, yes.
We have heard of you.
No kidding.
I have a message for you. The Frenchman says to wait here. He has gone to see El Guapo.
Who's the Frenchman?
Probably the producer's boyfriend.
Did he say how long he'd be gone?
He said just to wait here.
Well, if we've got time to kill, I'll have a beer.
We have no beer, only tequila.
What's tequila?
It's like beer.
Is it fattening?
Fattening?
Forget it. If it's like beer, we'll have some.
It's not even noon yet.
Relax, Ned. 3 tequilas.
Bartender puts a bottle of tequila and 3 small shot glasses on the bar.
That'll be 10 pesos.
Pay the man, Ned.
Ned removes his boot from, takes out the wad of bills. The bandido's eyes bulge. Ned writes in a notepad.
In pesos, drinks, Diablo.
Oh, come on. Let's have some decent-sized glasses.
Sure, amigos. Enjoy yourselves, but try not to get into too much trouble, okay?
He laughs and puts up 3 man-sized glasses. Yeah, man-sized glasses. And our boys take them to the table. The bandidos in the bar scatter nervously, clearing the table for them.
Boy, it's like these guys have never seen movie stars before.
Give them a break. People get very nervous around celebrities.
They gulp down their man-sized glasses of tequila. There's no reaction from the amigos, who assume they are drinking nothing stronger than beer. The bandidos in the bar are amazed.
It's an odd taste.
Probably watered down.
Another?
Just one more. I'm really thirsty.
They down another glass.
There's something about this place. Everyone is so grim.
Ned, they're intimidated. They've only seen us on the big screen. We're like gods to them.
Angle on the Bandidos. Close-ups of frightened Bandidos staring at them. Close-ups of the Migos staring back, smiling. Finally, the tequila taking effect. Lester speaks.
Hey, you don't have to be afraid of us. We're just folks like you. Relax.
He spots a piano in the corner.
Ned, go on over to the piano.
Lester, I haven't played in...
Oh, come on, boys. Let's do a little something for the folks. We'll loosen these guys up.
After some coaxing, Lucky stands up and addresses the crowd.
Okay, we're going to do a little buttercup, but remember, we're a little rusty, so bear with us.
Ned goes over to the piano.
Okay. Ready when you are.
He runs his finger over the keys. Lester walks over to the Bandido and squeezes his face into a smile.
So bring a little smile to your face.
Now, don't join in until we tell you.
This B flat is dead. I'll have to play around it.
Oh, come on, Lucky. Just like we did in the old days.
Lucky counts off.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
My little buttercup. Won't you stay a while?
The dance around the cantina.
Come with me where moonbeams paint the sky. And you and I might linger in the sweet by and by.
The Bandidos force a smile, and Ned whispers, "They're loving it."
Oh, little buttercup, with your eyes so blue. Dear little buttercup,
you're a dream come true. You and I will settle down in a cottage built for two. Dear little buttercup, sweet little buttercup, my little buttercup, I love you.
Come on, everybody.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile.
On smile, Ned points to a section of the audience who sings it alone.
My little buttercup, won't you stay a while?
On while, he points again to a section of the crowd who sings it alone.
You and I will settle down in a cottage built for two. Oh, little buttercup, I love you.
They finish, and the desperados don't know what to make of what they've seen. Exterior street day. It is still the height of the day. The amigos, still heavily drunk from their tequila, stride down the street discussing their triumph.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, they loved us.
Normally, I don't like beer.
They turn a corner. Interior church day. Carmen is waiting inside the church. Rodrigo runs in.
Carmen, the Three Amigos. I saw them at the cantina.
They get up and race out into the street. Exterior street day. Rodrigo and Carmen rush up to the amigos. You are the Three Amigos.
Yes, we are.
Ah, gracias Dios. She kneels in the dust and kisses the hand of each amigo in turn. Rodrigo reverentially, God, they really love that word, kneels and picks up Ned's guns and hands them back to him. I have prayed for this and my prayers have been answered. We have waited for you for so long. For someone to God. Oh my gosh, let me start that again. We have waited so long for someone and now you have come.
Told you we were big down here.
We are here to take you to Santa Poco.
Senorita, may I say on behalf of my colleague and myself that the simple peasants of Santa Poco will get more than their money's worth from the Three Amigos.
Rodrigo and Carmen exchange smiles.
Let's ride.
Where are your horses? Exterior Mexican desert day. The three amigos, all sitting on one horse, are being led by Carmen and Rodrigo, who ride in front of them. Dissolve. The five still ride slowly through the desert wasteland, all jammed onto the horse. They pass 3 or 4 bleached cow skulls. We see a close up of a rattlesnake. A scorpion snaps its stinger.
Sure, it's pretty country.
Sure is.
He is jammed on the horse between Lester and Lucky.
Excuse me, Lester, you're sitting on one of my testicles.
Dissolved later, a desert sandstorm blows dust in the faces of the amigos. Exterior outskirts of Santo Poco Day. The five stop outside the village and dismount. They are covered with dust. That's our village.
Let's get rid of some of this dirt.
They begin to pat the dust off of them. Volumes of dust pool off of them until they are standing in a dense cloud. Exterior Santo Poco Day. The five of them enter the village. The amigos are waving at the crowd like they were in this rose parade, and the villagers line the street and stare back solemnly and silently as they watch the amigos ride by.
Looks like a tough crowd.
Intercut the grave faces of the wary crowd. Rodrigo goes over to Pedro.
These men are the three amigos. They will protect us from El Guapo.
El Guapo chew them up and spit them out like flies.
Interior Sanchez home night. The three amigos are having dinner in the Sanchez home. The atmosphere is a bit restrained. Carmen is wearing a dress. For the first time, we see how really beautiful she is. Lucky takes notice of her. Plates are being passed, and the amigos and the family eat in silence. It's a bit of a loss for what to say to one another. Ned breaks the silence.
Sure is nice to have a home-cooked meal.
Mama Sanchez beams at Ned. They all continue to eat. The door slams open, and Carlos the baker and Pedro enters. Carlos has a little boy in tow. Pedro was carrying 3 serapes.
These 3 serapes are gifts to you. They were sewn by the women of our village. They are the finest serapes in all of Mexico.
I'm sorry. I have brought this loaf of bread for your guests.
I knew that was Travis. He hands father the loaf of bread.
Thank you.
The amigos ad-lib their thanks, and Carlos and the little boy stare at the amigos. The amigos stare back. The little boy shyly walks over to Lester and looks up at him.
Hi.
Senor, may I have your watch when you are dead?
The Sanchez family are aghast. The amigos are merely confused.
Pablo, come, we must go. Forgive
He
him.
grabs the little boy by the pulls him away from Lester. Yeah.
Forgive me, senors. He is not used to strangers. Good night, Emilio.
He leaves.
Funny little kid.
I'll say.
We now notice at each of the windows in the room, a group of townspeople had gathered to catch a glimpse of the amigos. At one of the windows, a group of young girls are looking at Lester, giggling and gesticulating, powerfully impressed by his hairdo. Father Sanchez clears his throat and rises.
Senores, welcome to Santo Poco. While you are with us, please think of this as your home. For what you are about to do for our village, I salute you.
They all toast.
I'm beginning to really like tequila.
Well, I sure am looking forward to meeting this El Guapo.
Carmen and Rodrigo look at the amigos, and then proudly at each other. Interior the amigos' bedroom night. The light of the full moon streams across the faces of the 3 amigos as they lay in a tiny single bed. We pan across their faces.
What a nice bunch of people.
Really are. Yeah.
That Mama Sanchez is a really wonderful cook.
Sure spent a lot of time talking to Carmen.
I had to find out what we're supposed to do.
What are we supposed to do?
She's a little hazy on the details, but as far as I can figure, El Guapo is coming in a day or 2. He rides in and acts like he owns the place. We'll have about 40 or 50 other actors with him.
Big production. Then what?
She wants us to do pretty much what we did in Shooting for Love.
That was a good movie.
They all were, Lester.
Yeah, they sure were.
Ned and Lester close their eyes and go to sleep. Lucky, restless, looks at the moonlight coming through the window. He hears Carmen singing softly in the distance. He is drawn to the balcony. He peers down and we can see Carmen bathing, dimly illuminated by the moonlight. He tries not to look, but Can't help himself. Her voice drifts gently up to Lucky as she sings. Carmen sings a song about heroic men to come. Lucky uses great skill hanging upside down from the balcony to see her bathe, possibly his feet hooked over the balcony and his body sticking straight out. Exterior Santo Poco morning. The town wakes up. The rooster crows and the animals stir. We see a bell in the church tower being rung by a peasant. It resounds throughout the village. Interior the Amigos' bedroom. Morning. Lucky and Lester are startled out of the bed by the bell. Lester has on his ever-present hairnet. Interior Mama's kitchen day. Ned, wearing an apron, helps Mama in the kitchen. He is cooking like an expert, kneading tortillas and tossing them on the stove. Mama listens sympathetically to him.
Then, when I was 16, I was too old to be little Nettie Knickers. So Mother and I went to Virginia, and that's where I met Lucky. He was still in the Navy then.
Lester enters from the room above, and he wears a hairnet and a robe, and it's clearly too early for him. Buenos dias, Senor Lester.
Buenos dias, Mama Sanchez.
Huevos?
Huevos to you too.
He sits at the table and Ned efficiently pours him a cup of coffee. Next, exterior Mexican desert day. Alone in the desert, 3 of El Guapo's men pass around a tequila bottle. They are liquored up, good, and looking for trouble. They finish the bottle.
Get some more tequila.
I think the first Bandido had a stroke. El Guapo said to wait here.
By the time he is here, we will be back.
We'll go down to Santa Poco and we'll be glad to see you.
Oh my God, Travis, Jesus. They laugh, mount their horses, and gallop off. Exterior village square day. Carmen and several other young women are gathered at the well, giggling and firing questions at Carmen.
So, what sort of men are these amigos?
Did you meet them in Diablo?
I like the big one. All I know is they are like no other men you have ever seen. If you did not know, you would think they were like children. Interior Amigos room day. Lucky and Lester and Ned are getting into their Amigo outfits.
I still think they should give us part of the money now.
Ned, it's a town. Towns don't run away. We'll get the money. Let's hear your speech.
I know my speech.
Do it then.
He speaks in a dull, flat monotone.
All right, all right. Wherever there is injustice, you will find us. Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there. Blah, blah, blah. Then El Guapo says you will die like dogs, and I say we will not die like dogs. We will fight like lions.
Great, great. That's what you should be worrying about, not the money.
Exterior Mexican desert day. The 5 bandidos ride towards town, blood in their eyes. Exterior village square day. The girls are still at the well, chattering about the amigos. Oh, which one do you like the best, Carmen? She blushes and retrieves her bucket from the well. Oh, how can you think of such things when these men are about to risk their lives tomorrow? Something causes her to look up. It is the dust stirred up by the bandidos in the distance.
Madre Dios, bandidos, bandidos.
Whatever you just said. Yeah, whatever. Sooner than expected, I must warn the 3 amigos. Oh my God. She drops her bucket in the street and runs towards her home. The other girls scatter fearfully to alert the town. Bandidos! Men drop what they're doing. Someone rings a dinner triangle and the doors and windows are shuttered. The street is emptying rapidly. Exterior Amigos room day. Carmen shoots up from the Amigos room. They're coming! They're coming!
Who?
El Guapo and his men!
Already? We'll be down in a minute. Jeez, I think we gotta do the show now.
Oh, great. I thought we were going to get a rehearsal.
Obviously not.
Yeah, so what? They've probably done it 1,000,000 times, and we know what we're doing.
It's going to take me at least a half hour to get ready.
Got that long. Ned, do you know your lines?
I know him. I know him.
Exterior desert day. The drunken raiders still riding get closer to the town. Interior amigo bedroom day. Ned and Lucky look on in frustration as Lester fusses with his hair and his outfit, polishing each concho in turn. He struggles with his shirt that is sewn into his underwear to keep it tucked in. Interior desert day, the Bandidos are even closer to the town. Exterior Santo Poco day, we see the peasants of the village peering from behind the doorways, looking nervously towards the riders. Interior amigo bedroom day, Lucky looks out the window towards the riders.
Looks like there's about 5 of them.
Perfect. They tell us 50 and others 5. They better not try to cut our money.
Are you ready?
Let me get my sash.
Lester dilly-dallies with his sash. Exterior Santo Poco day. The drunken bandidos are in the center of the town and they fire a couple of random shots in the air.
Are you going to bring us some tequila or do we have to come to get it?
Jesus Christ, stop. Interior Sanchez kitchen day. The amigos are downstairs peeking out at the bandidos.
Hey, these guys are pretty good.
Are you kidding? They're doing every cliche in the book.
Give them about 30 more seconds. Or one more attempt at an accent.
Bandito. Oh, sorry.
If I have to go to the cantina, someone is going to die.
Angle on the amigos.
Okay, amigos, we're on. Ned, big smile. Lester, just relax. Have fun with it.
Angle on the bandidos.
Where's our tequila? We are waiting.
Exterior Sanchez door day. The amigos, in full regalia, somersault into the courtyard and do a small show. Lester drops a feather, and Ned draws before it hits the ground, etc. When they walk boldly into the square, mount their horses, and pose heroically before the 5 bandidos, the bandidos stare at each other. Lucky breaks rank and approaches them.
Well, you dirt-eating pieces of slime, you scum-sucking pigs, you son of a motherless goat.
He looks back at the other amigos and gives a self-congratulatory wink.
Son of a mother's goat! And who are you?
Wherever there is injustice, you will find us. Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there. Shit.
Lester walks up to cover for him.
Wherever liberty is threatened, you will find the
Three
Amigos.
Angle on the bandidos. The bandidos are staring, dumbfounded by the whole performance. Angle on the amigos. They ride around firing their guns in the air, shouting, arriba, arriba, arriba. Angle on the bandidos. They continue to blank stares, mouths agape. Who are these monkeys?
I don't know.
Should we kill them?
Maybe we should tell El Guapo what we have seen.
The bandidos turn and ride away. Angle on the amigos.
Nice show.
Damn it, I forgot my line.
Oh,
Get it.
yeah, I don't think they even noticed.
I don't think they noticed.
Quick cuts to the doors and the windows of the town open slowly. The townspeople begin to emerge from hiding. Carmen walks proudly towards the amigos. Angle on the townspeople. They are awestruck. No one has ever challenged the bandidos before. Angle on Carmen's father. He gazes respectfully at the amigos.
Viva amigos.
Rodrigo hears him and picks up a chant.
Viva amigos.
The rest of the town catches on to the chant. Viva amigos!
Viva
Viva
amigos.
amigos! Viva amigos! Angle on the amigos. The chants continue under the dialogue.
They're really starved for entertainment around here.
I'm telling you, I've been in this situation before. Ask for the money now while they're excited.
They seem to really like us.
Angle on Carmen and Rodrigo. They approach all 3. You are magnificent.
You have done it.
We were okay.
From the church tower, the villager rings the bell loudly.
Fiesta!
The town responds, Fiesta! Fiesta! Exterior fortress day. El Guapo lives like a king in an enormous mission he has commandeered. It was built by the Spanish 100 years earlier. Presently, he is engaged in his hobby, taking art photographs of semi-nude women in Turkish harem outfits. He takes it very seriously and composes the tableau as though he were a great artiste. Jefe is in a tableau dressed as the Sultan, and three bandidos who face the amigos talk to El Guapo.
And then what happened? They got on their horses and rode around firing their pistols in the air. Jefe, the sword. Hold the sword higher. Remember, you are a sultan.
A sword is so heavy, El Guapo. How long do I have to stand like this?
Until I am satisfied. And they call him a scum-sucking pigs. More frightened girls.
The girls oblige.
What should we do, El Capo? Tomorrow I will ride to Santo Poco and blow their heads off. Hold it, Jefe. That's perfect.
He squeezes the bulb and the flash of powder goes off. Exterior Santo Poco night. The fiesta is in progress. A mariachi band is playing. People are dancing, and in the town is truly happy for the first time in many years. No, there's a candle. Quick cuts, a circle of girls dancing in rhythm, people drinking wine from sacks. Women high-stepping in Mexican dresses angle on Lester. Lester is dancing with the three of the village belles. He picks up Pablo and dances with him. Women look at him romantically. Angle on Ned. Ned is dancing with Mama Sanchez. His technique is impeccable.
You're a wonderful dancer, Mama Sanchez.
So are you, Senor Ned. I'll bet your mother taught you.
She did. How did you know?
He is standing with Carmen, showing off and trying to look important.
Then the horse kicked me right in the face, and for months you could see the shape of the horseshoe on my forehead. And that's how I got the name Lucky.
Their eyes meet, and Lucky looks up at the moon.
It's a full moon tonight.
Yes, soon you will meet El Guapo.
Meet El Guapo? That wasn't him today?
Oh, no.
Is he here at the fiesta tonight?
Oh, no.
Oh, I get it. Big shot.
Oh, Lucky, you were so brave. She suddenly hugs him, and Carmen's girlfriends look on and giggle. Exterior courtyard night. It is later that night, and the Amigos make an entrance on the makeshift stage, ready to perform for the crowd. The scene is set up to singing to come.
Different lyrics, amigos.
Yes.
We are three
Yeah,
brave
three brave
amigos, three
amigos,
happy
three happy
amigos.
amigos.
Say we are
Say we
birds
are
of a feather.
Feather, we happy.
You're
We're
happy amigos,
no
No
matter
where
where
he
he
goes.
goes.
No,
One,
one,
So
two, and three
goes. We're
We're
always
always
together.
together.
We're three
three
happy
happy
chappies
chappies
with
with
snappy
snappy
serappies. You'll
You'll
find
Find
us
us
beneath
beneath
our
our
sombreros.
sombreros. We
We
are
are brave
brave
and
we'll
we'll
say
say
so.
so.
We're
Bright
Right
bright
as
as
a
a
peso.
peso.
Who says
Says
so? We
so.
say
We
say
say
so.
so. The
The
three
three
amigos.
amigos.
Oh, we
Oh,
We
we
have
stars
the
to guide
to
us.
guide us.
Guitars
guitars
here
here
beside us.
beside us to play
Play
us.
Play
as we
as we
go.
go. We sing and
Sing
we
And we
samba.
samba, we
We
shout,
shout, ay
hey,
Hey,
caramba.
caramba.
What
What
means ay
means ay
caramba?
caramba?
Oh, yes, I
don't know.
Oh, through
Fair
fair
Through
or
fair and
stormy
stormy
weather,
stormy
weather,
weather,
we stand close together, like
together.
books
Like
on
books
a
on
shelf.
Good
Pals
pals
though
though
we
we
may
may
be, when
be,
some
when
Latin
some Latin
baby
baby
says
says
yes, no,
yes,
or
no, or
maybe, each man
each
for
man for
himself.
himself.
Like
Like
brother
to brother,
we're
we're
all
all
here
for each other.
The
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 three
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 brave
brave
amigos
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 forever
forever
will
will
stay.
stay.
The Amigos are joined by the villagers in this joyous celebration as it grows to a bacchanalian proportions. Interior Amigos bedroom. Sorry, morning. The three Amigos hungover, written all over their faces, or hangovers written all over their faces, asleep in their little bed, still wearing their Amigo outfits. The church bells clang loudly, but this time it keeps on ringing.
Next time we come here, I'm going to ask for a different room.
Suddenly, Rodrigo bursts into the room.
Amigos, El Guapo himself is here with all his men, just outside the village. I have your horses waiting. You must ride against him now.
He hastily exits.
What is he talking about?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We got another show to do.
Like he walks to the window and looks out. El Guapo and his 50 men stand at the edge of town.
Great.
Let's get it over with.
Exterior village square day. The amigos exit the house. The villagers watch instantly as the amigos mount their horses.
Let's go.
They ride slowly towards El Guapo and his men. El Guapo rides slowly towards them. We see Carmen with her friends.
They are so brave.
Engel and the amigos. They ride confidently towards El Guapo. Engel and El Guapo, he and El Jefe, stare menacingly at the amigos. Exterior village square day. The two factions stand face to face in the village square. Lucky speaks directly to El Guapo.
Well, you dirt-eating piece of slime, you scum-sucking pig, you son of a motherless goat.
A slow burn from El Guapo.
Who are you?
Whenever there is injustice, you will find us. Whenever there is suffering, we'll be there. Tell us we will die like dogs.
What?
Tell us we will die like dogs.
El Guapo looks over at Jefe and shrugs his shoulder.
You will die like dogs.
No, we will not die like dogs. We will fight like lions because we are
The Three Amigos!
The Bandidos stare curiously. The townspeople let out a big cheer and they give the amigos salute, draw their guns, and fire into the air.
Arriba! Arriba! Arriba!
This time they ride in circles around El Guapo and his men, shouting maniacally and doing tricks on their horses. The Bandidos stare curiously.
They amuse me. Just kill one of them.
Jefe takes his rifle, sights over his arm, and shoots Lucky. Lucky takes a tremendous tumble off of his horse, and the other two amigos stop their horses and ride over to the fallen Lucky.
Hold it, hold it.
Lucky is clutching his arm in pain.
Jeez, Lucky, are you okay?
Happened.
Oh no.
He got a little blood on his hand. He looks over at Jefe, whose rifle is still and is pointed at Lucky. Lucky walks over to Jefe and grabs his gun from him.
Give me that.
He opens the rifle and dumps real bullets into his hand and turns back to Ned and Lester.
Oh, great. Real bullets. You're in a lot of trouble for this.
He gets a long, nasty look back from Jefe, making him realize the truth. He walks back to the other amigos with a big smile on his face and speaks through clenched teeth.
It's real.
What?
Real.
You mean
Yes. They going to kill us.
Lester starts to cry.
what am I doing in Mexico?
Lucky starts to cry too.
What are we gonna do?
We're not gonna get paid, that's for sure.
Let me talk to man to man.
He goes over to El Guapo and speaks to him.
On behalf of the Three Amigos, I'd like to say that we're very, very sorry, and we're going to go home now. See, there's been a misunderstanding.
See, we're not gunmen. We're movie stars.
We stars?
Yeah, actors, entertainers. We sing and dance.
Yeah, you know.
They do the first verse of My Little Buttercup, and we see the stares of El Guapo and his men, and the blank faces of the disappointed townspeople. They finish and stare at El Guapo, and El Guapo breaks in the silence.
Don't you want to die like dogs?
If there's any way of avoiding that part, be very, very much in your debt.
El Guapo only kills men. He does not kill crying women. So go, you big movie stars.
The amigos nervously mount their horses and slowly ride to the edge of town. The townspeople avert their eyes as they pass. Engel and the Sanchez family. Carmen has a tear in her eye. Rodrigo is devastated. The father shakes his head forlornly. Engel and the townspeople, we see their disappointment.
That's there.
He fires his pistole into the air. The amigos flee like frightened rabbits, and the bandidos laugh as they watch them go. Back to El Guapo.
People of Santo Poco, you are very foolish to bring men to try to stop El Guapo. You have hurt me.
Do we kill everyone?
No, Jefe. We do not kill the hens before they lay the eggs. You see, Jefe, the harvest is not yet in. If we kill everyone, we will have to gather the crops ourselves.
He looks to the townspeople and sees Carmen in all of her beauty. He rides over to her.
Buenos dias, señorita.
He takes off his hat and she averts her eyes.
You see, Jefe, a rose can bloom in the desert.
I know, Guapo. Just the other day I was in Sonora.
Jefe, you see, señorita, I have the soul of a poet, but I am surrounded by limines.
Imbeciles!
Oh, imbeciles! I didn't see. Yes.
Suddenly, he swoops her onto the horse. She screams and struggles to escape.
The town is yours, muchachos. Jefe, Santo Poco is no longer under my protection.
The Bandidos ride through the town like barbarians, shouting and firing their pistoles and torching some of the buildings. Exterior desert night. The Amigos are hiding up in the hills above Santo Poco, and they built a small campfire. They are standing and looking to the village far below. They could see the light of the fires. Scene to come. Lester takes care of Lucky's wounds. Friend song to come. Blah blah blah. Exterior Santo Poco Day. The Amigos ride shamefully back in town. The town has taken a terrible beating. Remnants of the fire still burn. Broken doors lie on the street. Lucky is wearing a tourniquet. A mother with her child, sees the Amigos and turns away. Lester sees the little boy Pablo. He gives him away, but the boy frowns and ducks inside the building.
Jeez, this is awful.
Exterior Sanchez home day. They knock on the door of the Sanchez home. Father opens the door. Mama stands behind him, sobbing.
We're real sorry about what happened.
We'll just get our things and go.
There is nothing of yours here. El Guapo has taken everything.
That's rough. Well, we're gonna go back to Hollywood now. I guess I should say goodbye to Carmen.
El Guapo has taken her too.
He closes the door on them and they turn away to see Rodrigo.
Shit. Our money's gone. My mother's gonna kill me. She always told me never leave your money in the dressing room.
Ned, you know I've never liked your mother.
I know, Lester, but that woman sure knows show business.
How can you guys talk about money when Carmen's been kidnapped?
Lester sees Rodrigo.
Rodrigo!
Rodrigo sees him and takes off running. Lester sees him and chases after him. He sees Rodrigo enter a barn and Lester alone follows him in. Interior stable day. Lester enters the stable, and though he sees no one, he knows Rodrigo is in there.
Rodrigo, I know you can hear me. Right now you probably feel like we've let you down. And in a way, maybe we have, especially since your town is ruined and your sister's been kidnapped. Rodrigo, listen to me. You're very young. Someday you'll learn that some people aren't always what they appear to be. We're not killers, and that's what you people need.
There's silence from Rodrigo.
Don't you think we'd like to help? Hey, maybe we can help. Go to the police or something. What do you say? You lead us back to the train station and we'll go to the police. Lucky's a great talker. You'll see. Get some action. Well, maybe we'll do more than that. I don't think El Guapo knows who he's dealing with here. We're the Three Amigos. It's gotten us mad, yeah. When the Three Amigos are mad, look out, brother. We'll rescue Carmen ourselves. We don't care what the odds are. 3 against 50? That's nothing for us.
At that moment, Ned and Lucky enter the stable with Rodrigo, who is looking downcast.
We found him. He was hiding across the street in the storehouse.
Oh. Rodrigo, there's no way 3 men can defeat 50.
We told him already.
All three look sympathetically at the boy. There's a long pause. Rodrigo begins to cry.
Can I talk to you boys for a second?
He takes Ned and Lester aside.
You see that crying boy over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In no way should you let that sight affect our decision to get out of here as soon as possible. Remember, we're talking about real bullets aimed right at our heads. We're talking about a man who would just as soon slit our throats as pass wind.
I guess so. What do we do about him?
I'll talk to him. We'll see if you get the horses.
Excuse me. Ned and Lester pass Rodrigo shamefully as they go. Exterior barn day. They're sitting on their horses.
Lester Lucky's right. We don't know anything about fighting bandidos.
We did in the movies.
This ain't the movies, Lester. Damn it, I hate that guy for taking my money.
At that moment, Lucky comes out and walks slowly across the street and gets on his horse.
Must have been hard.
Not as hard as it's gonna be. Told him we'd save his sister.
Ned and Lester cheer. Rodrigo bursts out of the barn on horseback. He yells to the amigos.
Follow me, amigos.
The music swells and the four of them ride off heroically. Exterior El Guapo's mission day. We see the courtyard where many piñatas hang from open beams. El Guapo looks slightly depressed. One of the Bandidos is wearing Ned's dressing gown. Some of the amigos' possessions are near El Guapo. El Guapo sits with Jefe, finishing his breakfast. El Guapo pushes his plates away. The obsequious Jefe anticipates El Guapo's every need.
You know, Jefe, 10 years ago, if the people of Townspeople had dared to bring in men to help them, even such monkeys as those, I would have destroyed the town and slit the throats of everyone there. Today I am 40 years old, and I am not the man I was.
And tonight we celebrate El Guapo.
I do not feel much like celebrating.
But the men will be disappointed.
Then I will celebrate, but I will not enjoy it.
More huevos, El Guapo?
No, Jefe. I have lost my taste for huevos.
More coffee, El Guapo?
Yes, Jefe. I will have more coffee.
Conchita, more coffee for El Guapo, pronto.
Conchita, a sexy camp follower, enters and pours coffee for El Guapo. As she pours, she leans over, exposing her cleavage. Jefe leers at Conchita.
El Guapo, could I have a moment of your time?
Of course, Jefe.
El Guapo, will you be using Conchita tonight?
No, Jefe. I have other plans tonight.
So you will not be using Conchita tonight?
No.
So in a way, you might say that Conchita will be free tonight.
In a way.
So I was thinking
Yes.
that since you are not using Conchita tonight, I was wondering if Jefe, that's me, might, with your generous permission, use Conchita myself.
El Guapo takes out his gun and loads it. Jefe reacts nervously.
Jefe, when I am not wearing my pants, do you want to wear my pants?
Why no, El Guapo?
When I am not smoking my cigar, do you want to smoke my cigar?
He points the gun at Jefe and backs up.
No, El Guapo.
So why would you treat a woman differently than you treat my pants of my cigar or my cigar?
You know, El Guapo, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was regretting it.
You know, Jefe, my mother was a woman.
Oh, really?
And you were just saying that you would treat my mother no different than you would treat my cigar.
But there's a big difference between your mother and a cigar.
You're saying my mother is not like a cigar?
El Guapo, I think you're mad at something else and you're taking it out on me. Perhaps because today you are 40?
So you prefer to sleep with my pants than with my own mother?
El Guapo, please.
Interior Carmen's cell day. Conchita enters her cell. We see Carmen chained to the wall. Tonight is El Guapo's birthday, and you are to be El Guapo's woman. I would sooner die. I would not mention that to him. Let me prepare you for the way El Guapo makes love. Carmen, do you know what foreplay is? No. Good. Neither does El Guapo. Exterior Badlands Day. The amigos ride across the desert. Exterior Desert Day. The amigos and Rodrigo come up upon a fork in the road, and there's an old man digging.
Old one, where are we?
It's a good question, my son.
Sorry, I was just caught up in Travis missing his cue. He laughs and continues digging.
Come on, let's get out of here. This guy's nuts. He reminds me of my Uncle Ernie.
What are you doing out here in the middle of the desert? As if I give a shit.
Sometimes it is difficult for an old man to live among others.
Let's clear out.
No, wait a minute. Why?
Yes.
Oh,
Old man, do you know El Guapo?
I know him. He and his men rode through here early this morning.
how do we find him?
He has gone to the old mission where he lives.
Where is it?
It is just beyond those mountains.
Can we get there through that valley?
The old man shakes with laughter.
Hee hee.
What are you laughing about?
You do not understand. That is the valley of the living death. No one can go there and survive. You must take the path around the mountains. That is the path El Guapo took.
He indicates another path.
It will take one full day.
We don't have that much time. Tonight, El Guapo will take my sister. He'll take her, all right.
He gonna take her for sure.
What do you mean take her? What are you talking about? Take her where?
Take her. Take her. You know.
No, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Ned confirms or comforts Rodrigo as Lester takes Lucky aside and explains, take her to him. We don't hear much, but we do hear the following words.
Pokey pokey, hide the salami, the meat sword.
Damn it, I wanted to do that. We gotta get there in time. We've gotta go through that valley.
Here's what you must do. When you ride through the valley, you will hear by voices. They are your own impure thoughts, and they will tempt you. Do not listen to them.
Well, yeah, sure, we won't listen.
If you survive, you will come up upon the singing bush.
Singing bush. Uh-huh.
There you must summon the invisible swordsman.
Invisible swordsman, yeah.
Each of you must fire one shot into the air, and the swordsman will appear. It will be very dangerous.
Danger. We laugh at danger, don't we, fellows?
Sibling laugh right down the road. Exterior, Valley of the Living Death Day. We see the Amigos and Rodrigo as they ride slowly through the dark, high-walled canyon. Strange sounds echo through the air. Odd flying birds fly across the canyon. The sky is blood red.
This is the Valley of the Lost Souls. Now remember, if you hear voices, you're not supposed to pay any attention. It is only evil tempting you. Evil? Tempting me? Give me a break.
They ride a little longer then.
Little nitty nigger.
Yeah?
That was English for sure. Ned, he looks over at Lucky and Lester. They shrug their shoulders. It wasn't them. Ned listens to the voice.
Ned, it's Harry Flugleman. You're the talented one. You could be a big star. Why waste your time with these guys?
That's right.
No, Ned. It's the voice of evil, tempting you.
Lucky, Lucky, come over to the cliff. I'm waiting for you. I want to make love to you.
Carmen.
I'm going to let you touch my bunny.
Not really her, Lucky.
Meow. Meow.
Oh my god.
Meow. Meow.
Who is it, Lester?
It's my little kitten, Biffy, from when I was a kid. She came back. She came back.
No, Lester, it's a trick. Everyone cover their ears.
They cover their ears and ride towards the end of the canyon. As they ride, we hear various voices, including El Guapo. Some of the voices are saying things like, Ned, you're the star, not these other schlumps. Lucky, you wouldn't even have to marry me. Lester, it's me, Twinkie, your parakeet. Etc. Dissolved to later, the three amigos are sweating, walking their horses. They look like they're on their last legs, and they stop next to a rock.
Too hot. We're gonna die. This desert never ends.
Yeah, 140 out here.
The old man was right. Let's face it, we're dead men.
In the background, we hear in the distance a highly spirited little zippity-doo-dah, zippity-hey, my, what a wonderful day.
What is that?
The singing bush!
They walk up the rise and see a miraculous sight. It's a lush rainforest, and sitting at the edge is a singing bush. Oh, what a beautiful day this is. Oh, what a beautiful day. I'm so happy to be here. What more can I say?
Excuse me, are you the singing bush?
That's what they call me. I love to sing all day in a most delightful way.
Let me talk to him. Excuse me, are you the singing bush?
I am the singing bush.
Excuse me.
Just a singing bush. I sit here in the sun and sing for everyone. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming
Excuse
round the mountain
me.
when she comes. The bush continues to sing in the background for the rest of the scene.
Forget it. My guess is this is the singing bush.
Let's go summon the invisible swordsman.
Visible swordsman. I can't believe I'm doing this.
They walk a distance away from the singing bush.
You must each fire one shot into the air, and the invisible swordsman will appear.
They draw their guns. With much concern, Lucky points his weapon skyward and fires into the blue. Then Lester fires his pistol into the air. Ned doesn't point his weapon in the air, but casually fires off to the side.
All right.
We hear a loud "ow!" followed by a thud. We see an indentation in the mud of a man holding a sword. Lucky and Lester crowd over the indentation looking horrified.
Ned, I think you killed the invisible swordsman.
Lester picks up an invisible hand and feels the pulse, and it drops the hand back down in the mud. The singing bush is still chirping happily in the background.
He's dead, all right.
Well, he's invisible. How am I supposed to know where he is?
You were supposed to fire up. We both fired up.
I will never find El Guapos. He was the only one who could show the way. We must go back.
Suddenly, something attracts his attention.
Can I talk to you guys for a second?
Sure.
He takes them aside and points to the about 10 smiling Aztec-type natives looking at them.
They look pretty friendly. Hi.
He waves at the Indians, and the Indians wave back. We're still using that word. Exterior jungle day. The natives carry Ned and Lucky and Rodrigo to an ornate platform borne on their shoulders. Lester is ahead on a separate platform. There is food and flowers and other garlands spread about them. The natives sing merrily in a foreign tongue.
Obviously, they think we're gods.
Look, we go to the banquet, let them worship us for a little while, take their gifts, and then we get them to take us to El Guapos. Did you know the way to El Guapos?
The native smiles back.
Acha pucha taka. Wacha not puka sete.
Subtitles, "Oh, mighty volcano, we're so happy to live under your spew."
Paucha nakataka. Nodwaka pauka sete.
Subtitles, "Oh, mighty volcano, we kneel before you with our humble offerings of ugly pink flesh." The amigos smile at the natives.
Waka pucha naka. Nod puka sete.
Subtitles, "We'll tear their intestines from their writhing bodies, and then we'll put their livers on a stone and smash them, and then we'll rip up their stinking white hearts from their breasts and put them on a pointed stick."
Noida pucha sticky.
Subtitle, "I like to eat the eyes." Ned nods cheerfully at the solo native. Ned starts to sing with them, and the natives smile at him. To come, Carmen and El Guapo scene where he threatens her. And exterior natives camp day on a cliff overlooking El Guapos. The amigos and Rodrigo are buried from their necks down in a pit of sand. Only their heads are visible. The natives dance around them ominously.
They say this is good for your skin.
Yeah, we were almost to El Guapos.
What do you figure those jars of honey are for?
Fair?
Over there, by those jars of red fire ants.
They're going to pour the honey over our heads, and then the ants will eat our flesh.
That'll be the...
He stops himself.
Indeed, today probably will be the day.
Honey on my hair?
Really sorry you have to die like this, Rodrigo. I don't mind. I've had 14 very full years.
Honey in my hair?
The tribe continued to chant ominously. Suddenly, the drums stop, and the chief, wearing a boar's head and ass mask, walks out and faces them.
Gibberish, gibberish, gibberish. What is he saying? It's all a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
God, I love you, George. The chief hears mumbo jumbo and laughs. All of his men say mumbo jumbo and laugh too. Then he instructs his men to open the jars of honey.
Okay, I may as well tell you, if you harm us, I will make the sun go away. Do you understand? Dark, black, no sun. Understand?
The chief looks up at the sun, understanding.
What are you talking about?
Listen, it worked in the Amigos and the Aztec curse. It's worth a try.
Suddenly, the sun begins to darken. There's a total eclipse, and the amigos look at each other amazed.
Oh, look, there you go, Chiefy. I darken the sun, and things are going to get worse if you don't get us out of here.
The chief stops in his tracks and looks up at the sun, then back to Lucky.
Eclipse.
He orders the natives to advance with honey. They pour it over Ned's head, and then Lucky's, and then Rodrigo's. Then they start towards Lester. His loathing of his possibility is unbridled.
No, not my hair. I didn't come this far to ruin my do.
He starts to shake uncontrollably, screaming.
No, no.
Suddenly, as the honey pot nears his head, he pops underground and disappears. As the natives reach for the others, they each start shaking, pop underground, and disappear. Interior mineshaft day. We see them sliding rapidly down a tunnel. Exterior mineshaft opening day. From sheer rock face with the mineshaft opening, the Amigos and Rodrigo are dumped into a pile of sand. Slowly, they get up and check themselves to make sure everything is working.
What was that?
There are old mines all over this area. We must have dropped into one. Where are we? These, I think, are the Gato Blanco Mountains. There was much mining done here. El Guapo's camp is nearby.
Lucky, how did you know an eclipse was coming?
Oh, I can smell an eclipse coming a mile away. There's a special aroma an eclipse gives off. It's a gift I have for sniffing out natural phenomena before they happen. Earthquakes, tidal waves, tornadoes.
He's struck by lightning and gets up slightly shaken.
Floods, hurricanes. Anyway, we better get to El Guapos.
I don't know which way it is from here.
Suddenly, from overhead, the Frenchman's plane flies over them and begins his descent somewhere in the distance.
It's the Tubman 601 we saw in Diablo. He must be going to El Guapos.
Excuse me. They march off towards the plane, entering El Guapo's camp day. There's a pair of large grates being opened to admit a band of peasants bringing a large piñata for El Guapo. The Jefe is guiding the operation.
This piñata is a gift from the people of Puerto Ross.
Oh, what a beautiful piñata. El Guapo will be pleased. Take it into the storeroom and put it with the others.
Jefe, has the Polyfoo Frenchman arrived yet?
Not yet, El Guapo, but many presents have been coming for your birthday.
The Frenchman has the only presents I want.
He will be here, El Guapo, but I think you will like your other presents too.
Oh, yes?
Oh yes, El Guapo. I have put many piñatas in the storerooms. Each is filled with surprises.
My piñatas?
Oh yes, many.
Would you say I have a plethora of piñatas?
What?
A plethora?
Oh yes, you have a plethora.
Jefe, what is a plethora?
Why, El Guapo?
Well, you told me I have a plethora, and I just would like to know if you know what a plethora is. I would not like to think that a person would tell someone he has a plethora and find out that that person has no idea what it means to have a plethora.
Does it mean many?
Yes, tell me, Jefe, how did you know?
Just very lucky, I guess. Forgive me, El Guapo. I know I do not have your superior intellect and education, but could it be that once again you are angry about something else and you're looking to take it out on me?
Like what, Jefe?
Well, and forgive me, El Guapo, but could it be that you are turning 40 tonight? And you're thinking that you might not be that much of a man after that?
No, Jefe.
Could it be because Carmen chooses to sleep in her cell instead of with you?
Jefe, you do not understand women. Carmen will come to me when she is ready.
I do not just take her. When you want cattle, you take the cattle. When you want food, you take the food. When you want a woman, you just take the woman. Why not just take her?
You cannot force open the petals of a flower. When the flower is ready, it opens itself up to you.
When do you think Carmen will open up her flower to you?
Tonight, or I will kill her.
The Frenchman's plane flies over the mission and El Guapo looks up.
There is the Frenchman now, right on time. We must make him welcome.
Exterior El Guapo's mission. The Amigos and Rodrigo pause in the hills outside El Guapo's camp. They look down on his castle and see it for the first time. On the road below, they see the peasants carrying a piñata to El Guapo's.
My God.
It's impregnable.
Leave me, nothing's impregnable. Ask Lester about that waitress at Nat's diner. We've got to figure out a way to get inside.
Lucky is in deep thought.
Lucky. Those walls are 25 feet high. There's 3 guards at every post. There's no way we can get in.
I think Lester's right.
Gonna have to use our brains.
Shit.
I have a plan.
Enter courtyard day. The Frenchman and his 2 henchmen stand before El Guapo. Jefe opens a crate.
Here are the guns, El Guapo.
You have
Sorry.
lived up to your promise. You'll be my guest at the celebration tonight. A little party my men are throwing. For me.
Wow. We hear a voice off screen.
Open the gates.
All eyes turn towards the gates. They open and we see the giant piñata outside the mission. Standing next to it is Rodrigo and also Ned, who is disguised as a peasant. Exterior mission wall day. Lucky sneaks alongside the mission wall, leaping over the obstacles as he goes. Interior courtyard day. Rodrigo and Ned stand next to the piñata, which has now been brought into the courtyard. They hide their faces beneath their sombreros. Jefe has been speaking to them.
It is a gift from the people of Santa Poco.
What a piñata.
It's the biggest one yet. Should I put it in your storeroom, El Guapo?
Why? Let's put it right now. Hoist the piñata.
Hoist the piñata.
Several bandidos attach ropes to the piñata and prepare in preparation for lifting it into the air.
Hoist the piñata?
What is this piñata?
In our country, it is a custom on someone's birthday to fill a piñata with treats. Then the birthday boy, that's me, is blindfolded and tries to break open the piñata with a stick. And when he does, candy falls down all over his head.
The bandidos prepare to hoist the piñata. Ned and Rodrigo exchange looks. Exterior mission wall day. Lucky scales the wall and is inimitable. I hate that word. Lucky day style. This will be funny. Interior courtyard day. Rodrigo and Ned watch in terror as the piñata is being hoisted into the sky. Angle inside the piñata. With each turn of the winch, we see an escalating look of bewilderment on Lester's face. Angle on the piñata. The camera stays with the piñata as it rises higher and higher into the courtyard. Finally, it stops very high up. Excuse me. And is adjacent to the indoor 3rd floor balcony. At that moment, when everyone's eyes are on the piñata, Lucky, his back to the crowd, comes over to the wall and begins to slowly lower himself into the middle of the bandidos. Their eyes turn to Lucky, angled on Lucky. He works very hard at avoiding the guards above him and lowers himself expertly down the wall. He does not know he is being watched by 50 bandidos. With a flourish, he leaps into the center of the crowd, turns and sees that he is surrounded.
Seize him!
The bandito sees Lucky. Angle on Ned, he mutters under his breath.
Great plan, great plan.
He backs out of the courtyard and disappears into the hall. Angle on El Guapo, he approaches Lucky.
So we meet again, amigo.
I have 3 demands. 1, that you stop harassing the people of Santopoco. 2, that all the land of Mexico be redistributed equally among the peasants and the systems of proportional government be established, consisting of 3 separate but equal branches, a legislative, an executive, and a judicial. 3.
El Guapo puts his hand around Lucky's throat and picks him up. Lucky speaks in a high, strangulated voice.
Let the girl Carmen be returned to me intact.
Why you come here? You don't belong. Now we have to kill you. Take him away.
They drag Lucky off. The Frenchman looks at Lucky as if there were something familiar about him.
Now you understand why I need your guns. The other 2 Yankees cannot be far away. They are annoying little flies. Swat them for me. Come, Frenchmen. Now you enjoy the hospitality for which El Guapo is famous. You men hoist the rest of these piñatas.
One more word, buddy.
Piñatas. Music.
Jesus Christ. Bandidos bring out many colorful piñatas and begin to raise them to the ceiling. The courtyard comes to life and the mariachi band begins to play. Conchita and the Bandido girls dance and sing to the music. Interior hallway day. 2 bandidos drag Lucky down a hallway past cells holding prisoners.
See, under my system, you would not be under the thumb of El Guapo. You would be free to determine your own destiny. See, under a strong federal system.
Lucky! He looks over and sees Carmen in one of the cells.
Carmen!
Oh, Lucky, thank God you're alive. I thought you'd be dead by now.
Why would you think I was dead?
I don't know. I just thought you'd be dead. They drag him off.
Don't worry. I have a plan.
Exterior courtyard day. El Guapo's birthday is in progress. The piñata swings, holy cow, swings precariously above the party. Interior mission day. A lone guard sits with a rifle across his knees, drinking a beer. Ned, gun drawn, sneaks up to behind him to knock him out. Ned, unable to commit to hitting him hard enough to knock him out, dances around behind him, making tentative passes with the gun at the Bandido's head. Finally, he hits him in the head and knocks him out. Exterior courtyard day. The girls still dance to the music. The Frenchman and El Guapo are enjoying themselves. Jefe, ever alert, scans the ramparts for the other amigos. Interior cell day. Lucky stands in the middle of the cell. Chains are attached to his hands and feet. The chains go through the wall, back across the ceiling, and are attached to a winch opposite of him. One of the banditos starts to crank the winch. Lucky, protesting, is pulled towards the wall and is elevated several inches above the floor, hanging by his arms and legs. The banditos put the key to his chains on a nail. On a nail opposite of him.
Come and get it.
They laugh and exit interior mission hall day. Ned, dressed in the Bandidos' clothes, makes his way down the hall. Exterior courtyard day. The party continues. We see a piñata swaying gently over the courtyard. Ned appears at the balcony near the piñata. He surveys the courtyard below. We see the array of ropes that support the many piñatas that have been hung from the ceiling. Angle on Ned.
Lester.
Ned, is that you?
Yeah,
Where am I? Felt like I was being lifted up.
amazing.
Should I get out now?
I would wait.
Is Lucky in?
He's in all right.
So far, everything's going perfectly.
Almost.
So when should I get out of the piñata?
When they lower it 40 feet.
Okay.
Angle on the courtyard. A melange of merriment. Suddenly we hear.
When they lower it 40 feet?
The activity stops and all the banditos look around for curiously, wondering where the voice came from, then resume their partying. Interior cell day. Lucky, attached to the wall, is struggling against his bonds. We see the winch straining against his tugs. Exterior courtyard day. Ned slips in and out among the banditos, trying to get the door through which Lucky is taken. The song is finished and the Bandidos sit at a long banquet table. Jefe rises to speak.
A toast to El Guapo.
All the Bandidos rise. Ned, moving through the crowd, is forced to pause and raise a glass.
Today he is
He gets a glare from El Guapo.
33 years old. On behalf of myself and the rest of the boys, we chipped him and got him this gift.
He hands El Guapo a wrapped gift.
Can you
And then El
sing out
Guapo,
such men?
he unwraps the gift and produces a garish short sleeve shirt.
It is a sports shirt from America.
El Guapo loves it. He gives Jefe a hug. Angled on Ned, he is jostled by cheering Bandidos. Interior cell day. Lucky is tugging against his bonds and is starting to make a headway. The winch gives a little. Lucky, still attached to the chain, gets several feet away from the wall, but the winch resists and boom, he gets snapped back to the wall. Exterior courtyard day. El Guapo is now wearing his new shirt, is making a big speech to his men. Ned has been moved very near to him.
My man, my compadres, what have we done? We've done together. I know each other, one of you like I know my own smell.
He goes over to one of the men.
Carlos, we fought together. The priests of this mission. Pedro, we crushed the Federals on the plans of Ocacha. That.
Awashka.
Oh yes, that.
He looks at Ned dead in the eye.
And you,
Jose,
Jose, together we
burn the village,
burned the village and
slaughtered the cattle
slaughtered the cattle
of many small villages.
of many small villages. Who the hell are you?
Jefe approaches him and pulls off his hat.
It's another one of those gringos.
Jefe takes Ned's guns and the Frenchman looks curiously at Ned.
What is happening around here today? Are gringos falling from the sky? Are all my guards asleep? Take this monkey away. Put him with the other Yankee American.
Yes, El Guapo.
They start to haul him away and the Frenchman steps forward. Wait a minute. I know who this man is.
You do?
Yes, it is Ned Nederlander.
Who?
You are my favorite star of the silver screen.
Well,
In France, the cinema is very popular. I have seen all of your films, including when you were known as Little Amigos.
yes, that was a long time ago.
Oh, it was this man who inspired me to learn the sort of art of quick draw. I looked up to this man. I studied his every move. It was my dream to be as fast as Ned Nederlander. I practiced every day for hours and hours. He was a god to me.
God, it's always nice to meet a fan.
But then I heard about movie tricks, trick photography. I was crushed.
I never use trick photography.
Yes, that is impossible. No one is as fast as you appear to be.
I am that fast.
We shall see.
Happy to. Anyone have a watch?
I have a watch.
No, no watch. As you Americans say, we play for keeps. Give him back his guns. We cut on Ned's frightened look. Interior cell day. Lucky is again straining against the bonds and he pulls on his chains trying to get off the winch and is across the room. He walks stiff-legged like a tin man.
Gotta make it. Gotta make it. Never make it, never make it. Gotta make it. Gotta make it. Never make it, never make it. Okay. Gotta make it. Gotta make it.
This time he reaches the winch and hangs on. A smile of triumph on his face. He relaxes for a moment and is immediately thrown back against the wall and splattered against it. It's like an insect on a windscreen. Exterior courtyard day. The Bandidos have made room for the gunfight that is about to take place between the Frenchman and Ned. They are handing Ned a gun belt and guns.
You don't understand. I don't shoot at people. It's against my upbringing. Call it etiquette, whatever.
I have waited for years for this moment. Enters all day. Lucky again struggles towards the winch. This time he is near it. He strains. Finally, he snags on the rotor. Alternately, he wins. The winch wins. As the winch pulls, his leg rises into the air. As he pulls, the leg goes down. The winch pulls, his other leg goes up. At last, after much effort, he pulls the pen and the winch releases the spring. He goes to the sky, to the key on the wall, and releases himself. He's free. Exterior courtyard day. The gunfight continues to develop. It's written in French. The Frenchman parades around practicing his fast draw. He's fast. He's real fast.
What kind of guns are these?
He examines a huge pair of manly guns.
You're gonna want to die with a man's gun, not a little sissy pistol like this.
Enough! Put your guns. Put on your guns. Let's go. Ned reluctantly straps on the guns. Interior hallway day. Lucky races down the hall. He breaks into Carmen's cell and frees her.
Don't worry. I have a plan.
What is it?
First, the three of us have to get inside the mission.
That you've done? What's the second part of your plan?
Well, I don't really have a second part because we didn't expect the first part of the plan to work. Sometimes you can overplan these things.
They race out. Exterior courtyard day. The Frenchman and Ned stand 20 paces apart. The Frenchman is determined. Ned's scared to death. Interior hallway day. Ned and Carmen race down the hall looking for Ned and the Rodrigo. At last, they emerge at the top of the balcony adjacent to the piñata that hides Lester.
Lester!
What's going on?
Lucky looks down at the courtyard. He sees the impending duel. He is dumbstruck. Angle on Ned, he sweats. Angle on the Frenchman, he doesn't sweat. Suddenly he draws, but Ned is faster. Ned fires and the Frenchman is struck. The recoil from the big guns Ned sends Ned flying back into the crowd. The guns fly from his hand. One of them sails up into the air and Lucky grabs it. El Guapo sees the dead Frenchman and his anger rises.
I've had enough of these Yankees.
He draws his gun and points it at Ned.
Viva la con Dios, amigo.
El Guapo prepares to fire, but from the balcony, Lucky's voice is heard.
Not so fast, El Guapo, or you'll be catching a bullet.
El Guapo looks up. Lucky is the drop on all of them.
So you thought you could outsmart the amigos. Well, not this time. You've met your match.
What's going on?
About a thing.
He steps into a rope that is secured by a layer of the edge of the balcony, logistics to be solved by an art department. He is intending to lower himself on the rope down to the floor of the courtyard.
You think you are above the law, but no one is above the law.
He kicks free the lever, securing the rope, but instead of descending, he rapidly ascends to the ceiling, and it is the rope tied to Lester's piñata. The piñata plunges to the floor and breaks open. Jefe draws his gun.
I'm sick of these Yankees too.
Jefe aims at Lester. Lester sees him and jumps out of the broken piñata. The rope supporting Lucky is now weightless, and Lucky hurtles to the ground, but his fall is broken as he lands on Jefe. El Guapo sees the disaster. At that moment, the gates swing open and Rodrigo charges in with 4 horses.
Shoot him.
The Bandidos raise their rifles and aim at Lucky. Oh, sorry. This is still me. Rodrigo rides past the ropes holding the piñatas and slashes them with a knife. The piñatas fall on the Bandidos. In the confusion, the Amigos and Carmen mount up and they ride right through the center of the courtyard, their guns blazing.
After them.
The Bandidos mount up and ride after them. Exterior desert day. The 5 of them ride. We'll never make it. They're gaining on us. Oh, sorry.
We'll never make it. They're gaining on us.
I know what to do. Stay with me.
Sorry, I just got too into it. They ride off into a clump of trees. Exterior desert day. We see the Bandidos, led by El Guapo, looking for the Amigos.
We have them now. They rode into the field.
Suddenly, the Frenchman's plane, with Ned at the controls, and the rest of them hanging on for dear life, comes flying towards them.
So long, El Guapo!
I'll see you in Santo Poco.
The plane bounces across the desert. Exterior Santa Poco Day. The peasants doing repairs to the town are disturbed by a sound that they have never heard before. They look up and point to the little speck in the distance. After a few moments, the airplane bounces into the main street of Santo Poco. The whole town surrounds the plane. Carmen stands on the wing and quiets the crowd. El Guapo is on his way. He will be here by tomorrow. The crowd reacts in fear. We hear cries of, "This time we will kill us all," etc. Lucky quiets the crowd.
Someday the people of Santa Poco will have to face El Guapo. You might as well do it now.
He steps up onto the wing.
In a way, all of us have an El Guapo that we have to face someday. For some, shyness might be their El Guapo. For others, lack of confidence might be their El Guapo. For us, El Guapo is a big dangerous guy who wants to kill us. But sure as I'm sitting on this horse, the people of Santa Poco can conquer their own personal El Guapo, who also happens to be the actual El Guapo. Thank you and good morning.
He was struck by lightning. But how can our small village defend itself against so many?
By using the skills and talents of the people of Santa Poco. This is not a town of weaklings. We will turn your skills against El Guapo. Now, what is it that this town really does well?
We can see Sue.
So,
Sewing! There you go. If only we'd known that earlier.
It's a start. You turn those sewing skills against El Guapo and you've got something.
look, Ned, Lester, you remember our film Amigos, Amigos, Amigos?
Quiet, someone might hear us.
Remember what we did in that picture?
Geez, do you think it would work?
Only hope. Here's how it works.
The townspeople gather around. Exterior Santa Poco morning. We hear the bell in the church tower and hear it ringing loudly. Interior Sanchez morning. We are in the Amigos' old room. They are in their bed.
I hope this plan works, Lucky.
I hope so too, Ned.
I hope so too.
Me too.
Ew.
Really hope so.
Let's just say it better work.
Yeah, it better.
Yeah, it really better work.
Let's get going.
Lucky, I just remembered something.
Yeah.
It didn't work in the movie.
Exterior Santa Poco Day. In the series of cuts, we see the three amigos in peasant clothing and several townspeople doing tasks around the town, preparing for the upcoming fight. Lester and three peasants turn over some wagons. Lucky is jumping from roof to roof with several others as they test the roofs for support and check out vantage points. Rodrigo pries open a box and hands Ned a gun. Ned spins the chamber and looks approvingly. Lucky looks off into the far distance and sees dust clouds raised by El Guapo and his men. The amigos exchange glances and head for the Sanchez home. Exterior Desert Day. El Guapo and his men ride for the town. Exterior Santo Poco Day. The amigos, alone in the center of the square, mount their horses, check their weapons, and ride out into the edge of the empty town. Exterior Desert Day. El Guapo rides up several hundred yards outside of Santo Poco and raises his hand for his men to stop. Angle on the amigos. They ride out slowly to meet El Guapo and his gang. Lots of tension here.
Where's the girl?
You can't have the girl. And if you ride into town, you will have to deal with the three of us.
You hear that? If we ride into town, we will have to deal with the three of them.
El Guapo's men make sarcastic farting noises.
Sometimes 3 can fight like 50 if their cause is just. We will no longer allow you to treat these people like dirt beneath your feet.
The people. Do you think we will help you? They are like sheep. They run at the first sign of danger.
And Guapo, if you enter this village, you will never leave it alive.
The men laugh mockingly.
All right. We'll be waiting.
The amigos turn their horses towards the town and ride back. Angle on Ned.
Boy, I haven't gotten laughs like that in a long time.
Angle on El Guapo. He and his men laugh loudly and cock their weapons.
Huh, they are crazy. We'll burn this town to the ground.
El Guapo, with his back towards the town, yells at the amigos.
Hey, you amigos.
He turns, but the amigos are gone and the town is empty.
Adios, amigos. Let's go, muchachos.
They ride into town. Exterior Santo Poco de El Guapo and his men stop in the center of the square.
Where are you, my friends?
Suddenly, from a rooftop, the three amigos stand up, a gun in each hand, and let fly a hail of bullets on El Guapo and his men. 4 or 5 bandidos fall to the ground, Angelo and Jefe.
There they are, Guapo.
The bandidos turn and fire wildly at the roof where the amigos were, but it is too late. They are gone suddenly from the other roof, and almost magically the amigos appear again and fire into the crowd, downing several of them.
Now there they are over there, El Guapo.
El Guapo and his men fire into the new site, but again it is too late and the amigos are gone. El Guapo's men scatter, but a door bursts open and the 3 amigos fly across the square, guns blazing, and head a few more of his men and then disappear into another door. Angelo and El Guapo.
They went in that door.
5 of El Guapo's men run towards the door, but before they can get there, the amigos appear from behind the buckboard. More guns fire and several of the bandidos run up to El Guapo.
El Guapo, they are everywhere.
Several bandidos throw down their guns and flee.
Come back, you cowards.
Many of his men have fallen and some have run away. El Guapo runs to the center of the square, his guns firing. He sees the amigos in one place and fires. The amigos are gone. He swings and fires at them somewhere else, and they are gone again. Finally, El Guapo himself is hit and falls to the ground. The rest of his men run away. The fighting is over. Engel on the amigos. Lester, Lucky, and Ned approach El Guapo, who is laying up against the water, though. Lucky bends down to him.
How did you do it? I never saw such fighting. You were everywhere. The great El Guapo is no more, defeated by only 3 men.
Not exactly 3, El Guapo.
We see from El Guapo's point of view a blurry at first, but then more focused. He sees 3 amigos approach him. Then from a different direction, 3 more approach him. Then another 3, and then 3 more. It is the townspeople dressed as amigos.
More like 133.
The town is filled with villagers dressed like the amigos. Engel on El Guapo.
Oh, that was some good trick. Come closer. I have something to tell you.
Lucky leans in and El Guapo shoots him in the foot.
That was a good trick, too.
El Guapo bellows a laugh and dies. Lucky hops around holding his foot. Exterior Santo Poco Day. The amigos surround their horses in the center of the square, surrounded by the townspeople. The people show a respectful admiration. They carry flowers, and occasionally a peasant places a rose on the saddle or lays it in front of the amigos' path. We see cuts of the faces of the peasants, a tearful Mama Sanchez, Rodrigo looking on proudly at the amigos, and the 3 piñata peasants. The child who Lester befriended rushes up to him and speaks to him. I'm going to miss you, Senor Lester.
Gonna miss you too, Pedro. Here, I want you to have my watch.
He gives the boy his watch. The boy looks at him worshipfully. Angel and Rodrigo, he rushes up to Ned.
I want to go with you. I want to go with you. No, Rodrigo. There is still much to be done here. Your village needs you, and your family needs you. We are men without homes. We were meant to wander. You will always have a home here with us in Santo Poco, Senor Ned. Thank you, Rodrigo.
From the crowd, Carmen emerges and approaches Lucky. He leans down and speaks to her. Will you come back to Santo Poco, Lucky?
When our work is done here, I will return.
What work?
I will be waiting. He kisses her. Suddenly, the crowd gasps. It is Father Sanchez who emerges from his house. He hobbles over to the amigos, holding out his bag of gold.
You have done what you said you would do. Long will the memory of the 3 amigos live in the hearts of the people of Santo Poco. We are proud to give you this gold. Here, I'll take that.
Ned has a big, broad smile. He looks over at Lucky and Lester and tosses the bag in the air a couple of times.
Our reward is that justice has been done.
He tosses the bag of gold back to Carmen. He looks at Lucky and Lester, and they smile at each other. Father Sanchez opens the bag and pours out washers.
You are right, Carmen. They did not take it.
Adios, my friends.
They give the amigo a salute and turn their horses towards the horizon.
And remember, wherever there is injustice, you will find us.
Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there.
Whenever liberty is threatened, you will find.
Their horses rear up.
The Three
Amigos.
Amigos!
The music swells and they ride off, and the townspeople and cheer them. They stop outside the town and look back with a salute with their sombreros, and then they ride off into the setting sun. El Ende.
Is that proper Spanish?
Probably not.
El Ende is not Spanish.
Thank you so much for joining us on this wild alternate version of the Three Amigos. We hope you had a great time, and we'll see you at the next one.